Abundance. Trying to see if I can open up the panel more.
Abundance, y'all. Welcome in. Just getting started.
Mm-hmm. How do you open up the panel more? But gratitude, baby. Are we the same species? So when I say and ask this question, I want people to just focus on species. Do not bring race. Do not bring nothing into it. This is about speciation. Abundance, mother, abundance. It's been a long time. Gratitude. Everybody coming in, gratitude, greetings. Peace. Type and share their lives. Somebody already want to come up?
Hey, how's it going, man?
All right, go ahead. Share your thoughts and visions. Epi.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are we the same species as what?
What do you think about the question? Are we the same species? Is me
Like,
and you are black people around the planet the same species as everybody outside of us?
like close enough. Yeah. Like obviously our skin pigmentation would be different, right? But like I think we overall are the same species. Yeah.
All right. So can you genetically and biologically tell us how we're the same?
I'm not a geneticist or a scientist. It would be hard.
So you can't prove to me through your vernacular how we're the same.
I mean, I could say like
You can't explain how we both have cellular structures. You cannot explain any physiological functions or anatomical or cellular protein synthesis functions that we have similar.
like I could say like I mean we use the same senses, right? We could both talk to each other. We could both observe very similarly. We both use our eyes, right? I don't really get down to like how protein synthesis is made. Like that's a bit complex, but I think from a general perspective, I could say like if I were to see you in person, I don't think we would look that different like in terms of our biological like makeup.
Do you know that scientists, like they compare chimpanzees and baboonus monkeys to each other? They look pretty similar. They have a pretty similar integumentary system. They share 99.6% of the same DNA, and they have a common ancestor, just like they're saying about us, but they're not the same species. So again,
Oh,
the question that's on the board here is a real question. You brought up skin pigmentation, which explains your DNA, right?
yeah.
Phenotype is expressing the genotype. So there are 5 different types of melanin, 3 that pertain to so-called humans. So if we don't have the same so-called pigmentation, then that means that our genes are expressing differently, which means that we don't share genomics.
Okay, that's okay. I can agree with that. Also, because I'm not an expert, but I think what I'm more interested in is what are the implications of us being different species?
Sexual reproduction, things like hemolytic disease, zoonotic disease, is invoked on a cellular level whenever we begin to procreate outside of our species because the genetics are incompatible. When we
Oh,
first came in contact with y'all were wiping us out, 2 continents alone, plus others with seminal fluids.
Yeah, every single continent that Asians, white people, Arabs came to, 274,000 of our women were falling unalive per day. And this is just lowballing the numbers. On every continent, by the way, y'all was unaliving our women 274,000 per day, 1.9 per week. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you add that up from 1619 to 1919, the numbers go all the way to 509 million to 800 million of our women falling unalive just because of your DNA, just because of your reproductive system, just because of your proteins. So how can we be the same species when our genes have problems and diseases and viruses every time they interact?
Yeah, like I agree. It's bad to like unalive people, especially just based on their skin color. Like I think I would hope everyone would agree with that. But I think what I was thinking more is like, let's say
We
like you and I
wasn't
were to like
we
hang
wasn't
out.
talking about skin color. We was talking about your DNA. Your
Oh,
seminal fluid is acidic to our anatomy. You see what I'm saying? It disrupts cell signaling and protein synthesis within our cells. You see what I'm saying? Your antigens or your animal proteins, when it attaches to our red blood cells, it weakens our lymphatic system. It weakens our red blood cells, which allows diseases and parasites to take place. This is why you see so many so-called black people today have neurological issues, cardiovascular issues, and reproductive issues. Is because we're mixing DNA with a foreign species. You are foreign to us. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with the composition of the skin color, which is the melanin classification. We fall under two different melanin classifications. You are pheomelanated or eumelanated. I am neuromelanated. And the compositions of those two different chemical compounds or chemical substances is the fact that mine is neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight. Yours is animal melanin, which is sulfur melanin or ammonia based, mucous membrane based, which other animals have in synthetic environments.
wait, so I think I'm a little confused. All right, so like I don't know like how to look at people's DNA like when I meet them for the first time, especially like let's say I'm choosing like a partner for life, right, that I want to make a kid with. Like, are you like suggesting everyone needs to like do a doctor test or like a DNA test before they like get in a relationship to make a kid?
Okay.
Most of y'all do. Most of your people in your community already do because of the RH factor. They get blood tests to see if they're compatible to have children because y'all are not the same amongst yourselves. Y'all have incomplete dominant genetics. Y'all are not 100% of anything. So that's already happening. And then you have things like the Rogam shot that was introduced in the 60s to help blanket that situation, like to help ensure that there are so called more successful pregnancies with your species.
So I
Yep.
have a question. Like I see interracial couples and like they seem to have very perfectly healthy, strong babies. Is that different than what you're talking about here?
They're not having strong babies because their babies are not able to biosynthesize the sun, and they're having integumentary issues, and they're having issues with cell splitting and cell division and cell replication because now it has DNA from two different species that it has to replicate and pass on. So there's an actual problem that's going on.
So
And the dad, if the dad is black and the mother is white, that dad, he's thinning out his blood. You see what I'm saying? And that the mother is what creates the child in every species in nature, even if it's synthetic or natural. The mother creates the child. So if the mother is eukaryotic, everybody outside of so-called the black woman, if that's the mother, that child will be of that species.
and while I wouldn't even attempt to argue with your science because I trust you know more than me. But just from my observations, I mean, I don't see like any issues with the babies when they're born, given all those scientific facts. The baby just looks completely normal and fine and just living a completely normal life. In fact, I would actually argue they perform better than supposedly mixed same species intercourse and marriage. Um, so like, what would you have to say to that? Like, interracial babies are actually just living
Perform
completely.
better. What do you mean by that?
All right, I'll give you an example, right? So my cousin, right? So to give you more background, like I'm not white, by the way. I'm more like of Indian descent, right? And one of my cousins married a black man, right? And they have a kid, and that kid is like super smart, right? They put him in like martial arts. He's outperforming almost everyone in the class. He's into sports. He's doing really great. So I guess my question is like, what's wrong with him?
Okay, so the thing is okay. First of all, as long you have to understand that you're talking about their system that only requires you to use 2 to 5% of your brain. So define smart, and I'm not coming at the child, but define what is considered to be smart for real. When you're
Hmm.
being taught by animals that have different percentages of different unnatural animals, unnatural plants, microorganisms, and insects.
Yep.
So you got to understand you're only using a small percentage of your brain, and to be honest, because of that genetic treason that took place with her procreating with him, that he has low traces of neuromelanin because of that.
I mean,
So it
sure, but
doesn't.
Let her finish, please.
So that still, it doesn't dismiss the father. We're just saying that the X chromosome rules throughout the anatomy. It's her womb that actually constructs the child because she's carrying egg cells. She's carrying ovum her entire life, and all he did was just fertilize what was already there. So I understand what you're trying to say. Just because it looks good on a macro level doesn't mean that there aren't complications being invoked on a cellular level. These people also struggle with identity issues, especially when we talk about biracial people, because it's two uh, different genomics. And those identity issues cause sulcuses in the brain. So this is the reason why they struggle with figuring out who to identify as. And they're already on a cellular level, the information is not communicating like it should.
Yeah, if you share DNA with multiple different organisms to build up your organisms, you will not be able to sustain life on the planet. That's what's happening. Right now, you may not see it, but there's issues going on. You see what I'm saying? Like she said, they're only using 2 to 5% of their brain to do these martial arts or to do these to walk, read, play basketball, football. Like all everything we're doing in this system is not even more than 10% of the brain. So this is what we have to focus on. And what's it called? Like she said, he has traces of neuromelanin in him, but neuromelanin acts as a synthetic cleanser. So it's actually trying to eject
Mm-hmm.
itself out of the body because it sees that it's connected to a body with
Phenomelanin.
animal DNA. So
Facts.
that's why they always say that neuromelanin is a what's it called? It's synonymous with Parkinson's disease. It's synonymous with Alzheimer's disease because the heavy metals that y'all are building up in your brain is because neuromelanin is trying to leave your body when we mix with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So we're not the same species.
but
And
like
what's
people
happening to
within
him is chromosomal deletions.
I was,
His
yep.
chromosomes is deleting under the sun. The That's what I was trying to get ready to say is that the nucleus of his cell is getting removed because it cannot hold the pressure, frequency, and vibration of the sun's rays, the sun's cosmic rays. So that is removing the nucleus out of his cell, and all of the animal DNA that's within that cell can now communicate. So now the cell is gonna have malfunctions and deletions, and that's what's happening to that child that you're talking about. So he would not make it under the sun, and neither will you, because the Dravidians and Arabs also enslaved the organic race of the planet, and y'all are still doing it to this day. You see what I'm saying? 27 million of black people and children are in y'all countries right now, in Muslim countries and all of these Indian places right now being enslaved. You see what I'm saying? Being used for their DNA and their stem cells so y'all can sustain life on the planet. That's what's happening.
I mean, that's a lot of big words and it sounds a bit dramatic. And like what are the symptomatic
Me saying that your species is enslaving 27 million of my people right now is dramatic.
Yeah, because I don't like see them as slaves. Like, can you
What?
like give me some kind of symptomatic, like tangible, like sign that I should look for to see who's being enslaved based on their chromosomes or DNA that no one can really see?
That's not even what we said. That's how I know you're really not following the what we're saying.
Here
Mm-hmm.
goes
So
one.
So,
He
so
could
like,
he could he read the case Dred Scott versus Sanford, and you'll see a great big picture when you read that case.
yeah, okay, I'll check that out for sure.
you should have been taught that in school though. You shouldn't even have to go check that out. She's giving you something very basic.
Yeah, but like from my observations, it like I don't really see people being enslaved because they're married.
Margaret Sanger.
You don't.
You can check the comments. Somebody said Margaret Sanger.
Wait, what did you just
Masonic
say?
the Masonic Creed is talking about every corner that they turn will be poisoned. What the fuck you mean? Like these are documents. These are shit that's rooted in your what do y'all call it? So-called white supremacy. I don't understand. So now you're deflecting. So okay, let me ask you this: Do you biologically or genetically align with any place on this globe?
Yeah, are you natural to the planet?
Like, yeah, I mean, well, my parents are from Guyana.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about your DNA and your genetics. Are scientists saying that you share biology or genetics with any place on this globe, including the caves you were found in?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into it. I guess so.
So, okay, I'm gonna come clean. You might want to go do some more research and then come back. Because right now we're educating you on your DNA, and it's not a good look because all scientists are saying this, whether they're neuromelanated, they're my people, your people. They're trying to figure out what's the origin of the eukaryotic cell.
Okay.
May I interject? And at this point in time, a lot of facts may sound like HATE or RACIST, but that's not it. It's just facts. It's just truth. I also wanted to share that this information is to really help that ethnic group that is doing all the things to try to get that neuromelanin. Is very dangerous for y'all. All those tanning saloons and ingesting melanin. Why it's dangerous for you is because your body does not naturally produces this. So it's really knocking y'all off. It's not really helping you. It's knocking you off. So I just wanted to give that word out so that we all can treasure this information. It's not an information to cause anything other than people being aware. Because when I guess when the Caucasians go into the tanning saloon, it's really doing them harm because your body do not produce this. It you have melanin, but you don't produce it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they have pheomelanin, which can only interact, not absorbed, but interact with visible light. So they truly are unable to biosynthesize all like the full radiation spectrum. That's why they're always wearing shade. That's why they always have on hats because these things protect UV and UVB rays.
Yeah.
So when it comes to UVC radiation that's been ground level since 20 what 15, it's been spanking y'all. Y'all are becoming sterile. 14 million men are sterile in Japan. They haven't been reproducing for a long time. The Russians haven't been reproducing for a long time. Europeans all throughout Europe, they haven't been
The
reproducing for a
Arabs,
long ass
Dravidians,
time.
Indians.
The Dravidians are getting smacked with disease right now. They're no longer reproducing. So guess who is reproducing at pretty steady rates. I won't say exponential, but pretty steady all over the globe is our people. And we're seeing our women ages 40 and up, all the way up to 85, give birth to twins, while your people are becoming sterile because of the sun. Go ahead, my sister Nine Ether. Go ahead. We're gonna introduce the next sister, and then we'll get back to you.
And abundance for that, mother. Abundance for
Yeah,
that.
abundance,
That
mother,
was powerful
gratitude.
words. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
I just want, because we are people which is really highly filled with love. And when we give facts, it seems like we are filled with HATE, but we're not. We are the people that save the world, all ethnics, because we gave them the mitochondria. So we're still mothers, no matter what.
Cool, thanks. But yeah, I guess that's kind of it for me for this topic. Again, I just don't like know enough, right, to really talk about it, but appreciate all of the information that everyone has shared on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for joining. You see what I'm saying? I just want people who is coming in alive. This is about speciation. This is about genetics. You see what I'm saying? Are we the same species? We want to hear your thoughts on this. What do y'all think? Because what y'all think is influencing our society, our community, our surroundings, our environment, our circumstances, everything. So we need to know: are you passing the right information down to children? Are you lying to children? Are you spreading information out of fear? What frequency are you spreading information out of?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Are you what type of thoughts are you having? Because every last one of your thoughts are being sent out 11 million miles out, every single last one of them. So the thing is like, if we know we're not the same as these people, then we need to be abandoning all types of mental programming. Because having thoughts about the system that we're in and keeping it going is keeping us here. You're manifesting this at this point. So that's what we got to understand. You see what I'm saying? If we're not the same as these people, then we got to abandon everything that we've been taught. We got to become students of the universe again, students of earth again, and remember who we are. And if that's not something that you're willing to do, you're going to have to recycle. Because you're never going to come back to this system. This system, right, you're not going to get to come. You're like people saying, oh, I'm going to just have to recycle. You're not coming back to this. This not going to be here. So essentially, you're going to be faced with truth at the door. Ain't no more ducking. All right. So let's see. We not the same species.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask y'all, because if we don't, then they're going to flag our live. So we're not the same species. But what do y'all think? You know what I'm saying? Tap and share, y'all, because they be trying to shadow ban his account more than mine. So I don't know what's up
I'm
with that.
wondering what happened to y'all. I hadn't seen y'all in about a year. Well, they took me down for a year trying to have me to prove who I am. I'm like, what the hell? And then it was one whole year, and then I had to send them IDs and blah, blah, blah. Like consistently.
Consistently?
Consistently.
No.
Yes.
See,
I couldn't, I wasn't up for one whole year. And
yeah,
then
no,
y'all were
we were wondering where you were, because I seen
right.
that they banned your account. But yeah,
Yes.
they keep Zell has been wanting to go live on his backup. They keep wanting to ask for his identification.
Yeah.
And now for certain, even for me to use certain settings in my TikTok, I have to verify my identity. And I'm like, you already have my ID.
That's
For
what.
me to go live, they want me to send it in again. I'm not doing that. So
They need to
Exactly.
verify their identity on this planet.
Yeah. I'm
If they
not
take me, if they take me down on here, I'm gonna be just posting on YouTube. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm not giving them my identity. I'm not doing that. You see what I'm
That's what,
saying?
I was looking at YouTube today because that's what I said I was going to do, because these people, they're pimping us and they want to have control by, oh, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't this, you can't that. And when I go on like their people's site, oh my goodness, the things I see happening, I'm like, So it's a profiling platform as well, and just like you all know, all what you're saying right here is 100. So they know who to tap into to juice info and to juice, because a lot of things that I had found on internet that were facts, I can't find them no more.
Facts. We were just talking about that
Mm,
last night. Somebody in our
yep.
comments has said that they've been changing the definitions. And to be honest, Zell has a collage that he made like probably about a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
And we've been sorting through all of our sources because we realized we were using the same stuff, but we have like at least 1,000 sources on our on
Exactly.
both of our phones. It's crazy. So we were sorting through them, and I looked at the definition of hybrid a year and a half ago, and it is different. They've added way more information. I posted that on the screen. Like, in my next video, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but in my next video, I am gonna talk about like that because they changed that definition in a year, and because AI, everything. There was a girl that was live on here yesterday talking about if you have drafts on TikTok, they're
Hmm.
using that to train their AI, whether you've posted it or not. So
Yep.
that's why AI is becoming more sensitive. People are going to have a very hard time deciphering what's real and what's not because all is being revealed. There's other life forms here that than they want to admit. The truth is coming out. So now people are going to be like, oh, that's AI or that's not true
Yeah.
or
Be
it's
aware
this.
of the false flags. We
Yeah.
already have to stand on truth already to see the lies. You see what I'm saying? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna, because every other country right now is already experiencing blackouts. Like even how they
Yeah.
came out, blackouts, the economic system is already crashing everywhere. The last government to fall is right here in America.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And once all governments fall, then they're gonna introduce the eukaryotic creator. So they're right now they're making everything strict around the planet.
Yeah.
You see the abuse of the organic species and the embarrassment that we've been doing to ourselves has been amping up the closer we're getting to the shutdown. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you have to stay on your. You see what I'm saying? To stay on your nine. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be mentally sharp and have ultimate discernment right now and have discipline.
Right. That's so correct. And we have to work with nature because, I was last night I came across I was reading about how we can take, like things that we see, but we have to like tune it out for what it is to use it for survival, like even right now, the copper pipes and the water in the ground in your yard, all around your yard, all around, like even where in your communities, cause they are really thickening the sky with that old acid and nanobots and metal and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
Yeah.
And like I say, right,
Yeah, go
we
ahead,
know
brother.
they filling the sky up. We know they're filling the sky up with these chemicals to try to block because we know it's not our people doing that. Like we see it. Like I be outside literally every day and I watch the sky. Like sometimes I like, okay, um, maybe I guess some clouds could be real because obviously you need rain, but we know a lot of clouds they're fake. You know what I'm saying? And they spreading it where places where black people be at. But I noticed like at the end of the day, we are the sun. You know what I'm saying? We are like the sun is within us. And I notice every time when I just connect with nature or you know what I'm saying, or I meditate in nature, you know what I'm saying, sit in the chair, put my feet in the grass, I literally control the weather. Like and a crazy thing when you look at weather, it's like we are ether. Like we literally are ether. You know what I'm saying? So like when we talk about what's the movie? What's that movie? X-Men, right? Storm, right? And how she can control the weather. We at the end of the day, the more you obviously raising your vibration and frequency, you know what I'm saying? You're able to manipulate the external world, even though you're already connected to the external world and it connected
And
to nature and the weather. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm
hey,
like,
I ain't trying to cut your flow off, my brother, but they just try to, you saying, so I'm saying, they try to do something to my live right now. So everybody
yeah,
just flooded with emojis, tap and share the live. So I'm saying, just put F1s. My fault, brother. You can keep going. And Alejandro, you can come up. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to keep typing in the comments because you keep talking about the sun and species, but that's what we're talking about up here. So you can come up.
yeah, because I like to always realize like it was one day, once upon a time, the sun people and the ice people, bro. Like I literally saw like when it was that freeze came, bro. I saw like these people literally running with their shirt off and it's cold. I'm like, bruh, y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got that shit. But obviously, I gotta be that heat in that cold weather. I gotta still be that electric heat in that cold weather and still push. You know what I'm saying? Because I work a job where I gotta work in an environment and stuff like that. But it's like is we know we are different species because why this benefits me and it makes me feel good, but it doesn't feel good to you. And when it's the cold time, when it's ice, you know what I'm saying, that feels good to you and it doesn't benefit me. You know what I'm saying? My people get sick in straight Antarctica type weather, you know what I'm saying? So that lets you know that we are a different species. Like at the end of the day, it's not hate. You could still it could be respect, but at the end of the day, you have to let people govern their own people. Why you controlling my people? Why is you trying to tell my people how to eat? You try to teach my people to say we need breakfast, lunch, and dinner when that is not our diet. You want us to eat dairy products when that is not our diet. That is not according to our DNA. That is a part of your DNA. And we too like as melanated people, right? You know what I'm saying? We have the spirit of love, right? We have the nobody can reach the spirit of love like we can because we always gave love because that is a part of that when it comes back to melanin, neuromelanated people, you know what I'm saying? The sun, you know what I'm saying, it teaches you to have love. And but now we're gaining back in consciousness, right? Where we're not making those mistakes no more. You know what I'm saying? We notice, we learned that giving too much love and stuff like that, it can hurt us from the long run. So now we're going in a different age where we're teaching our people where we have to love ourselves first, you know what I'm saying, rather than loving everybody else, because if we do, that can be detrimental to us. So, yeah, I commend y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's love, you know what I'm saying? But like this shit changing, like the planet heating up. We just gotta continue to raise our vibration and frequency, you know what I'm saying, and get in nature. Put your feet in that grass and do breath work. It changes. It changes. You are ether. Don't ever forget that. You know what I'm saying? And put the right stuff on your skin, put the right stuff in your body. You know what I'm saying? Um, try to educate like Denzel and Sky do, you know what I'm saying? They read, you know what I'm saying? They absorb this information. And we know this like, bruh, like nobody can absorb information like we do. You know what I'm saying? You could tell how when they speak, they just like it's like some real superhero type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we absorbing that information, we reading them words, you know what I'm saying? That shit getting into our brain, but at the same time, we got that spirit of discernment. You know what I'm saying? We know what's real and what's not real because we could read some shit and we were like, man, this some bullshit. And we know what's real and what's fake, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say, bro. But
Abundance for that. Abundance for that. I appreciate your frequency. Did you want to say something, mother?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
because when he was speaking, it just triggered, while we were apart. I missed y'all. I really did because y'all are so conscious and y'all are, bringing awareness, and that's what it is today. Is Aquarius time. So, my thing, what I wanted to share was, because I always remember y'all. I always y'all voices and your information always going through my head. And at that year, I was like, oh my goodness. We were preparing for all of that, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a little bit more research. Come to find out, you see, like how you were talking about the chemtrails? Okay, the chemtrails, I'm going to break it down because I said, what the heck is it? Right? Okay. When they do that, it not only just puts metal in the air and acid in the soil and all of these detrimental things that goes against nature, right? What it also does, people, remember how melanin works. Our melanin is our protector in every which way, up, down, all around, foot, head, everything, skin, cells, everything. It is our fire to life. It is our conductor. It is our regulator. It's our protector. It is everything, not only to us, but to the globe and to the macrocosmics. That's how important we are, though. But look how we're in tune, because that plasma that you see at night, that triple carbon, that is our melanin. You see that black ink that the octopus shoots out when he feels that he's in danger? That is melanin. And what I researched, that black ink that they push out is the exact melanin. We can drink it, they could drink, everybody could drink it, because it's melanin, right? Okay. Now, like I was saying earlier, the thing was detrimental to the other ethnics is the fact that their body do not produce it. So you're putting in something into your system that the body does not produce. So your body is going to reject it and cause you harm. So that's just like the fetus. That's just like the sperm, the egg, if it's not of melanated, the melanin indigenous people, right? In the indigenous people. Indigenous means mother and father, right? Okay. Now, when they spray the air, got chemicals in the water, chemicals in the food, chemicals in the hair product, chemicals in the skin products, chemical in your toothpaste, chemical every freaking breath you take. It compromises it. What it does, it overwhelms your melanin, because remember what melanin does, it regulate and it stores and it stabilizes. So all these chemicals and everything, our system is made to stabilize it and use it for energy. That's why we ain't dropped yet. But when you overwhelm the production with chemicals every which way you turn, then it overwhelms your whole melanin cycle. And then what it do, it break the brain barrier, and then those 5G whatever is transmitting, our people trip out. So you're hearing these hideous ass criminal acts. And then it also breaks your blood barrier, because that's what's protecting us. That's what's regulating us. That was conducting us, the energy and everything. So when we're overwhelmed with these chemicals, it's like the melanin can't work fast enough to stabilize and regulate and store for energy. So it's like it's bombarded with chemicals. So guess what, people? Your brain is left open so they could send those old frigged up frequencies, and then we wonder why they did that. It's so barbaric, it's so inhumane, it's so everything, because you're not yourself when your melanin is overwhelmed. So you're going to have all those whatever, because, they send chemicals, and their chemicals is their demons, right? So you're going to have all whatever, when you're hearing all these hideous criminal stuff with these children and man and woman in the schools, at the parties, that's because the melanin is overwhelmed. Because what are they doing? They're drinking. They're not eating right. They're not resting. Their whole system is frigged. Now they send these waves, and now we doing the things that we would have not ever done if they never overwhelmed our melanin. So that's another reason. It's a whole lot of reasons, but that is a very main reason. And you know why? Because your neuromelanin at 1 gram is $1,500.
Wow. Yep, that's facts. You see what I'm saying? This system was in place to oversaturate your blood so it can break your blood-brain barrier, like she said, so they can introduce extremely low frequencies, brain waves to affect your brain waves, to have you from going from gamma, from being awake, unaware, to beta, you know what I'm saying? Sleep. You see what I'm saying? Alpha waves. It's all about how they're affecting your neuromelanin dimple antennas in your in between your pia matter and your dura mater of your brain. So everything she's saying was facts. And our people, like, you see, like, when we all start knowing the truth, it makes a change. You see what I'm saying? Like, we need to understand that our DNA is ubiquitous. It's everywhere around the planet. You see what I'm saying? But there's a genetic
Can you
strain.
imagine? Man, everything that's living, because it's the conductor, it's the fire to life, has melanin. But we are the highest producers. Our organs are saturated. You see your medulla oblongata? Oh my goodness. Y'all need to study that. And your pineal, or your pineal, and your hypothalamus, and your medulla oblongata, and your pituitary. And then come to the front lobe, you have that ganga, it start with a G. It's kind of really weird name, but it's like it's between the two, right there, like your sinuses there. And that,
Ganglia. What is it called?
The
Uh, uh,
ganglion.
the
uh,
ganga something.
I can't think. I
It's
know exactly what you're talking about. I can barely
exactly.
pronounce it though. Yeah.
Mm,
And it releases the crystalline fluids. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
that
basal
make that.
ganglia.
Yes, and
yeah.
Yeah.
and that is what makes anything you think, imagine, smell it, feel it, touch it, see it. It's not even there, and guess what? Bam! You are magical with just that right there. It makes it come. Yeah. Now the thing of that's why they would say, "Oh, go pray." It's not the praying. It's not that word is so crosses. It's not the praying. It's the act at what you do with what you have. You have that ability because of who we are. So if you even said, "Mickey Mouse, come defeat my enemies," there you go. Oh, you think it was Mickey Mouse? It was you.
Facts.
So, we phenomenal. And not just to make our people aware, but it's also to make the other ethnics aware, because guess what? They knew, because they know who they got the knowledge from, where they got the knowledge from, but they're not going to tell you because they already assigned with all of the Confederates to keep us down. Because it's like, remember, you got their shit. Anyhow, they know that you got their stuff. Then what's going to happen? So all of them formed a Confederate against this one nation.
Yep.
And that's fucked up.
Yep.
We tell our people all the time that they're all working together against us all over the globe. I don't understand how we don't understand that. I don't understand how we don't see that. I don't understand how we study
And they
nation and still
Some
don't
people
see it.
still connected to religion, you know what I'm saying? And that is one of the main ways that why people are still like accepting and cannot believe that another species is literally trying to not even if it's them individual is directly, but the entire of the species is trying to destabilize us and deconstruct us, and religion is one of those tools. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the tools that they had to use because they knew we were um, a
we're
spiritual
loving.
people, and our spirituality connected to science. You know what I'm saying? It was all interconnected, and that was one of the tools they had to try to put our spirit in somewhat of a cage where we can't um, think about elevating our consciousness. and not thinking our consciousness was just trapped into one book. We thought that it could not be no other ways or limits of learning different information of how our bodies, how our spirits, how our minds work. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you need to always have the spirit of discernment, you know what I'm saying, to know, but religion was one of the biggest tools, and we gotta, and I slowly see it fading away. A lot of people are actually waking up. A lot of people are actually waking up from that, from religion. You know what I'm saying? No matter what ideology, because all of them, they all have some truths, but they have some major lies, right? When we talk about the person in that book, you know what I'm saying? He died at 33. We got 33 vertebrae, you know what I'm saying? It's all talking about us, you know what I'm saying? It's all talking about the anatomy of the black man and the black woman, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. So like we keep saying, like these people are all working together against us, and we fighting amongst ourselves to say who's greater, who's when everybody outside of us is literally plotting against us and using all of our DNA for, you see what I'm saying, their functionality and their weapons. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to know, like, if we're all the same, what is the argument about? Because this culture stuff, like, we're not 200 year old species. We're not a 400-year-old species. Why do we always start at slavery when we want to talk about who we are and how we stem from other people around us on the globe that look like us? You see what I'm saying? And like she said, to label us and brand us like barbarians. Exactly. They all labeled they all labeled us as we had diseases all over the planet. They all labeled us as that.
Isn't that something? And they're the ones, they gave us their, history, right? And took ours because they're the ones everywhere they go. Now, even till today, the Seminoles on that island, they will not allow not one Caucasian to come near their island. You know why? Because the other island, when they did allow these mercenaries to come, talking about, oh, about Jesus or whatever, the whole island, was gone because of the diseases. So they protect their little island there. They want no, they, if they see a Caucasian coming, they start shooting. First, they get a warning because remember, it's a law. It's a law. And they tell you, look, if you go out there, just if you don't come back, no one is coming to get you because it's a law. You cannot go to this island because of what the people do. They off you before you even get close to the island because
Yeah.
they don't want to die because of what happened for centuries with diseases that they bring. And remember, their method of operation has not ever changed. What's going on today? Who and bio this and all kind of creation of all these unknown whatever, wherever they created that shit from. That's the same method of madness. And today's day, they should be really happy because of the fact, remember, they used to say, oh, why this and why that? And now we got the answers. They should be really quiet and listen because they used to ask those questions. Their grandfathers knew, we didn't. Now we know. We used to hear our grandfathers tell us the truth, but when we went to school, we thought grandpa was just telling us a bedtime story. Now we know grandpa was telling us the truth. For those grandfathers who did tell the truth, you know what I mean?
Look at the movie Sinners. You know what I'm saying? If y'all watch the movie Sinners, how like we did in the jukebox joints, you know what I'm saying? We was minding our own business, you know what I'm saying? Connecting to spirit, listening to that good music, you know what I'm saying? And we was like when they say the Holy Ghost, you know what I'm saying? We could say that. but we was connected to the music and spirit. And you see how the outsiders, they came in, like somebody said in the comments, destiny swap, right? They wants to get attacked. It's like a little bug, like when you that light and the mosquitoes, they gravitate toward that light. That's the same thing, because it's like it can't help it. But at the same time, you see, once they was vampires, at the end of the day, once that sun came back up, you know what I'm saying, they died.
Burnt.
They were burned.
And I grew up in New York. I kid you not, there was not a day when Dracula wasn't on the TV. I was like, oh my goodness. And do you see how they equate it with like sex? You see how they equate that? They equate that whole Dracula thing with sensual, what you call it, seductive, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It was like that is like, So they use that for that. You get what I'm saying? They use the, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
for to get the Dracula. You get it? Because
Yep.
remember, yeah. And then I said, oh my goodness, when women be on they men's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And literally every year, how many children go missing increases all the time. You see what I'm saying? How many women of our species go missing increases all the time. Every year, it just keeps going up. You see what I'm saying? Unless we all realize it as a collective, it's gonna keep going. You see what I'm saying? That's why we got to be the beacons of light and keep sharing this information. That's why people are like, oh, why do you guys talk about this? It's because our species are poison and they're in danger. You see what I'm saying? There's a genetic stranger on this planet that is trying to influence us since from the egg cell, all the way out the womb to when we all the way to the casket. They're trying to influence us
And did you
biologically.
and you saw that hospital that plumber guy ran from? They said when they bust down, they had like maybe some people down there, but they bust the wall and there was like 1,200 detainees that alligator tries. They must have washed all of their, like how you go to the medical and they do a file on you. They scrubbed all, I think it was 1,200 or 1,500 files. And these people are nowhere to be found.
Mm. Yeah.
No, I was looking at that thing that they do to get the melanin. I'm like, oh my goodness. I had to stop
Mhm.
it. It
Yeah.
was, oh my goodness. I'm like, is this what these people is doing?
Yep. They have a tool to extract it right out the pineal gland. Yep. That's what they do because that's where it's concentrated at. You see what I'm saying? This it's in other parts of the body, and they use the other parts of the body, but they use the and it's crazy. You see what I'm saying? We telling y'all like what they're doing to they would never you would not see a picture of what they're doing to our children. You will not see it on the internet because they know what if we was to see that it would do something to our brain. That's why when you see that when they harming children, they're harming their own children, but they will not show you the picture of them doing it to our children. You see what I'm saying? And that's why all these slave movies and stuff like that, they don't really, they only show you mainly them just hitting us and but the main thing they were doing is raping. Like, you see what I'm saying? It all has to do with our genetic and biological state.
And barbecuing.
Yeah, barbecuing, eating us.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
I don't understand how we can ask for these people to repair anything that they have done biologically to us. You see what I'm saying? All these inventions, we can build them again. We worried about the artifacts, we can build them again. We can build, if we're such this divine, we can build this again. But our children, though, you see what I'm saying? They give me another restriction when I keep trying to talk about children. Like, you know what I'm saying? When we start talking about, but But the
Yes.
thing is, when
Yeah,
our
because
children, though,
that's what's keeping
our ch-
them going.
our children is our number one greatest invention. You see what I'm saying? And that's an immortal invention right there. Immortal. So that's the main focus that we should be putting our energy on. And it shouldn't be these artifacts, the monument, all these statues that we used to have. Who cares? We can build that shit again. We don't care about that. The problem is 8 billion million children are going missing. And 70 to 80% look like us. That's the problem. And we want to argue on this app like, oh, my people are so much greater about that. All this, like, what are we talking about? We were a global civilization, and we can prove that by the prokaryotic cells that we have in our bodies. We can prove that by the pyramids that's all over the globe, that was built by all neuromelanated people all over the globe. What is there more to argue about? We're just dragging this embarrassment out. Like, you feel me? We're just dragging it out. We're embarrassing. We're just arguing. I don't like seeing my people argue. You see what I'm saying? That was what that Black Panther movie is about. It's just another brother arguing with another brother for the power. You see what I'm saying? For ancestral
Yes.
power, spiritual power. You see what I'm saying? They
Exactly.
trying to always make us fight with each other. That's the
Hmm.
problem. It's a conditioning.
because you gotta understand as well, black people, right? We see ourselves. It's like when you see yourself in other people, right? It kind of bothers some people, right? It kind of bothers some people when you see your reflection, right? And it makes you not focus and forget about the real motherfucker who really oppressing you, you know what I'm saying? Or who's trying to control you, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, I'm all for, like, you know what I'm saying, being sovereign, you know what I'm saying, having our own nation of our own nation of us, you know what I'm saying? I want to one day see our children going to our schools and we controlling the curriculum, because at the end of the day, we the motherfuckers that taught these motherfuckers the same curriculum, and they just switched it and manipulated of how they wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to science, when it comes to metaphysics, when it comes to chemistry, chemits, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to biology and all these different type of stuff, we taught them that. And we have all the ability to do that. You know what I'm saying? We have all the ability to do that. We have the capability of being independent and having our own as black people, you know what I'm saying? Melanated people. But we think we don't. You know what I'm saying? We think we don't have the capability because we like to have a pacifier in our mouth. At the same time, we did fight, but at the same time, we still like to at least have that pacifier in our mouth and not think that we can do it. We can do that shit, bro. Like, we just gotta, like, I don't know. People
You
gotta
don't know?
have
Nah,
knowledge,
you
We
do.
bro.
have
You
to
do
do it.
know.
We have to do it.
Yeah,
We
I was about to
have to
say.
do it.
hmm I was gonna say you do know how to do it. You see what I'm saying? It's by leaving this system behind. This planet has always been ours. It's always going to be ours. You see what I'm saying? We are the first species, the originators of this planet, of every planet. It's always gonna be ours. The problem is that we forgot it was ours, and now there's papers and documentations of where people can say this is their land and that's their land and stuff like that. But whole time, this is ours genetically and biologically. This is our planet. This is my home. There's a
I think
genetic
the
thing.
main
You feel what
thing
I'm
we
saying?
should also, one of the
But
facts we should, my fault.
I am no, you good, brother. I have some guests coming up, so we are gonna tap back into that conversation. But I'm gonna swing back around the panel. Go ahead, Fling Bing, and then we're gonna get to Evolve in my app. Go ahead, Fling Bing.
Hello. So, what do you mean, like, by are we the same species? Like, who is we?
Is so-called black people around the planet the same species as everybody outside of them?
Yes, that's scientifically proven.
Oh, okay. So can you genetically and biologically explain that to me?
Well, Scientists believe that everyone started off as black because humans originated in Africa, and then the Africans had migrated to places like Asia, and then from there migrated to Europe, and also to America, Native America. So we all originally started off as black, but because when the Africans went to Asia, the continent, their skin would have adapted to the climates. So, and their features too, because black features are what has been adapted to the African environment. So that's why black people's features will be like dark skin because of the hot weather, so that they don't get things like skin cancer and sunburns, and then a bigger nose because their nose doesn't need to filter cold weather, cold air, and just more muscles as well because of the kind of animals that were in Africa, like lions, rhinos, hippos, to survive. And then when the Africans went migrated to Europe, of course, Europe is significantly colder, so the African skin would have became lighter and lighter and lighter, and eventually white. And then their noses would have reduced down to the size of small nose to filter out the cold air, so that they can survive better, and straight hair also because the hair doesn't need to protect itself from any sun. And this is just what I was taught in school. This is from research that I've done personally because I'm a mixed race person and I like knowledge, so I was just curious on black people's features, white people's features. But this is all a theory. Like this theory that I'm saying to you just came from scientists and observations that were made in in these countries. Like in England, there was actually a skeleton that was dug up, and they did some tests on the skeleton, and it was a black man, and they realized what had happened. An African person had migrated to Europe, and then there's like this is just what I was taught in school. What do you have to say? Before we respond, thank you for that response. I just wanted to get to the next guest, Teague, and then we'll open the panel back up. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Teague, to keep. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce
Teak.
your name. Go ahead, sister. She might not know she's up here.
I'm
No,
sorry, I
she,
was here talking. I was up here talking. My microphone wasn't out. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead,
go
sis.
ahead, mother. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying like how when we were everywhere, if this is supposed to be our Earth, we were everywhere. So that story that came, she said she's from England, so it must have came out of England. But we heard something different. I don't think we evolved from animals. I don't think that at all. Maybe other people did, but not us, because everybody came from us. And I don't know if people realize that science is evil. Like science has manipulated a lot of stuff, and a lot of science, if we didn't think about it, it wants to imitate us. They come up with vaccines and stuff to try to take us out. Like everything is an experiment on us. That's
So
what.
I think I got you, my sister. Thank you for sharing that with us. So here's the thing. When it comes to science, you have mad scientists that are trying to understand our planet and trying to understand us, but then you have us, which were the original true scientists. So we got to start understanding that science is also a place where there are no lies, unless we're looking at molecular gastronomy, synthetic biology, synthetic science, right? When we talking about the eukaryotic cell or the Asian, the Arab, or the white man, they are here through what you're considering to be evil science. So I can understand where you're coming from with that. But then I also heard your other talking points too. So I just wanted to, back you up in that regard. They are using scientists in a very so-called evil way because of their genetics. They have multiple different animal genetics that stem from unnatural animals, plants, microorganisms, and insects.
Yeah.
So the information in their brains have a hard time communicating throughout their biology, throughout their anatomy. So I also wanted to talk to Fling Bing for a second because she's talking about evolution theory. And when it comes to evolution, there's fact in that theory, but what most people don't understand and what most teachers don't explain because they'll get in trouble if they do, it's not within their curriculum to do so. But the base premise is how we went from haploids to diploids, or how we went from prokaryotes to eukaryotes. And no scientist on this globe is ever said that's happened. So going back to what the sister said, these people do not come from us. When you understand that there are 5 different types of melanin, 3 that pertain to so-called humans, these people have melanin. They are pheomelanated and they have eumelanin and they have abnormal amounts of those types of melanin. What makes us distinct as BOK people, so-called BOK people, is neuromelanin, which is the only biochemical substance that can condense sunlight, and it's also condensed sunlight on it in its own form. So you cannot get abnormal amounts of unnatural animal melanin from light, right? So that's what we have to understand. Just because scientists are saying with evolution that they acknowledge that prokaryotes and eukaryotes are in existence, that they are now here, that we can now observe them, but how the transition happened, there is no explanation for that. They're just saying prokaryotes were here for billions of years until eukaryotes came. They're not telling us how. So when we look at eukaryotes like dogs, cats, even when we look at the genetics of so-called white people, Asian, and Arabs, they share the same genomics with cats or with celery or with potatoes. These are
Pigs, cows.
hybridized animals and vegetables. So if you know that broccoli is a man-made vegetable, then you got to ask yourself, how long has genetic modification been around? You know what I'm saying? Because these people, they don't share genetics with the planet. So when we say that, oh, they're unnatural, but they come from us, that's a contradiction in itself. But I understand the train of thought because that's what we've been told. Did anybody want to respond to that?
Well, I would say that they came from us because we were the scientists first, so we created them.
But
Like
but it's
that's
not
that.
within our genetics to splice. There's no you don't these organisms that they're spliced with were not in nature for us to have even done it.
No,
That's
Yeah,
the
I
we.
thing.
don't even think they came from us. Like some people be thinking, yeah, we birthed them. Yeah, we taught them, right? I don't. But at the end of the day, I don't think they came from us. Just because, like, when we talk about ROGAM shots, right, with a lot of when we try to procreate with these people or whatever, you have to take like RH shots. You know what I'm saying to help it be
Program.
conceived, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we talk about our hair follicles and stuff like that, our hair it actually grows up, right? Our hair is actually electric. It actually does something to our nervous system. Um and it is actually living, you know what I'm saying? But when you talk about their hair follicles is most likely mixed or has this is why when we talk about animals like dogs and stuff like that, like they you see when they say the dogs is a man's best friend, no, that's their best friend because they feel so connected to the dog because they have some of that DNA within their some of that dog DNA within their DNA. So um
Yep.
Because that hair
yeah.
is actually fur. It's the same structure. When we look at the structure of the fur versus hair, it's 2 versus 3. 3 being the complex cell organism. Their DNA is very complex. Hold on, I'm gonna open the panel in a second. Go ahead, Money Ali, because you the same. I'm finna get on your ass. Go ahead and come off mute. Since you wanted to cuss me out earlier, go ahead and come off mute and tell us what you want to say about the topic here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't recall cussing anybody out. You
Go
sure that
ahead
was
and
me?
tell us why you requested up though. It's cool.
Oh, okay, good looking. Yeah, I just respect the prompt and keeping it real with people. So I just kind of want to understand some of your viewpoints. So I'm just really just listening. I think I hit
Go
that
ahead
button.
and tell us why you requested up to the live.
Answer the prompt.
Thank you.
So you're not gonna answer
So
the
we
prompt.
not you doing like you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyways, you're a eukaryotic cell man walking around with braids. All right, you have fur. You have fur that you decided to braid like our men and women. So again, we're not the same species. We do not even share. We don't express our genes the same way when it comes to behavior. You don't see us trying to cosplay and on a macro level anybody else on this planet, but y'all trying to cosplay us. Behavior, pheno means to show, showing. Anything that is assessed that can be seen with the naked eye physically is phenotype. So we're not the same as these people because we're not expressing our genes the same, which means we don't share genomics. All right.
And the type of melanin that you have is the genotype that you have, the genetic material that you have. And if we don't have the same genotype, we don't have the same phenotype.
Go ahead.
Currently walking, so that's why it might sound a bit funny. However, I just wanted to talk about the comment one of the people on the panel made saying
Go ahead.
that a dog is a white man's best friend, but not a black man's best friend. Because the amount of black people I know, including myself, who you just feel connected to your dog. Like it literally
I
is
mean,
your
as
best friend.
melanated
Like what
people,
I knew this
Hold on for a
Jamaican
second.
man.
Hold on for a second. We do one at a time here. So she was saying, you saying we as black people, but you said you're biracial, right? Is your
No,
mother black? Fling bling.
no, she's white.
She's white,
Okay.
so you're a eukaryotic organism. You're a white woman. You see what I'm saying?
My
And
dad's black.
your dad committed treason. The reason why you feel connected to that dog is because you share DNA with that dog. You share DNA
It's
with
not true.
yes you do. You share 14,000 of your genetics with animals. This is a proven fact. You can go look it up. So
Okay.
I'm not here to like spew lies or anything like that. This is genetic facts. So
Okay.
if you have a genetic response to that, you can respond. Other than that, I'm gonna move to the next guest.
You actually interrupted me. I wanted to finish what I have to say.
Because it's his live.
Yeah, it's my live,
If
and I have
if there's misinformation being spread and we're already on our second restriction, we have to, you see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead to get to Hokage Sin, but you can feel free to stay up here. I just have to introduce him
yeah.
because he's new.
We'll circle back.
Go ahead,
Hello, what's up,
Hokage
guys? How
or
y'all doing today?
Hokage.
Go ahead, Hokage.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So, we're talking on genetic level. So, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Tigers and lions
Mm-mm.
are both felines, right?
Are they the same
Two different
species?
breeds, but the same genetic pattern. Just two different breeds. Reason why I bring this up is because we have to look at everything on a molecular level, meaning that if a
Breed?
tiger and a lion breed, right? The female will be able to have offspring, but the male cannot have offspring. That's how you get your ligers, if you will. So now, if you take two humans from two different races and you put them together and they breed, there is a high probability that their offspring is also going to be able to breed. Just like the young lady up here who's biracial, whose mother is white and her father is black, right? You see where I'm going with this? So
No.
if we're
Okay.
going to say we are not the same, then we need to ask ourselves, what really separates us? Is it the lack of melanin from her mother and the melanin from her father? Because we know
No.
melanin is the richest thing in the universe.
Okay, hold on for a second. You see what I'm saying? You brought up a tiger and a liger. You see what I'm saying? They both may have
No, I brought up a
hold
tiger
on
and a
for a
lion.
second. Yeah, you said a tiger and a lion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me finish. So you was bringing up the tiger and the lion and how they created a child, and then that child couldn't produce an offspring. And then how is it that we can produce an offspring? Okay, You have to, on a genetic level, you said let's go on a genetic level, and you brought up something with an anatomy. You see what I'm saying? So again, when the black man and the black woman first came into contact with anybody outside of them, our woman was instantaneously dropping alive. They had to do 4,000 years of graping to now for us to even have a child together. You see what I'm saying? And that's a process that's done through introgression. You see what I'm saying? When they keep graping you back to back to back, and that oversaturates the blood and breaks your blood-brain barrier, and now you're influenced and conditioned and trained to think that we're all one human race. Then your body adjusts to that information. Your body runs off information. So again, we're not supposed to be mixing DNA with these people. These people, they was unaliving 274,000 of our women in each continent a day just with their seminal fluid and reproductive system. The reason why we can procreate today is because there are shots. You see what I'm saying? Like the Rogam shot, like the brother was explaining earlier, which tells the mothers, it tells the mother's immune system to don't look at the child as a foreign species. Let it grow in your belly. You see what I'm saying? That's what is now introduced to our women. So now we can procreate with these species. When we procreate with these species, we also are introduced to hemolytic disease, zoonotic disease, a lot of different blood issues that we see that we're having today is because we're eating these people. We're being vaccinated with these people's animal DNA and proteins and enzymes inside of the vaccines. We're consistently oversaturating our blood with animal DNA. That's the problem. We're mixing our DNA with a whole different species. These people are not the
Are we
same of
Homo
us
sapiens?
because, like, hold on for a second. I'm not done. Like I said, there's no way that these people can be the same as us when we first came into contact with these people sexually. Smexually is what I meant to say. F1. When we first came into contact with these people smexually, 1.9 of our women were falling unalive per week. You don't see that happening in nature. You don't see an elephant procreating with an elephant and 1.9 of the women start falling dead unalive per week. You don't see hyenas procreating with hyenas and then a large amount of their species start falling unalive per week. You see that happening with us because there's two different species procreating with each other, and they got the organic species, the black the so-called black race around the whole planet in a controlled artificial environment at all times, consistently poisoned. That's the problem.
Can I also share? I just want to share this real quick that the biochemistry is also different. When in school, I learned that the melanated individuals is melanin, serotonin, and sodium. Okay? And then the Caucasians are what it is? Sulfur, ammonia, and sodium. So just those
And you
compositions.
melanin, facts, and you melanin is nitrogen base. So sulfur and nitrogen, and then that turns into nitric oxide, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead, Hokage. What's your response to everything that he just said? We're not the same species because we're not genetically compatible on a sexual level.
Well, here's the thing again. Let's look at science, right? I love this. So, if we're going to compare two different people, I guess we can go back a couple hundred years, but let's go back 700 years, right?
Okay.
700 years ago, where there was no vaccine. There was no vaccinations of any kind. Mixed bred people were still being born on a crazy level, right? Like when the Mongols, like 2,000 years ago, invaded Japan and they were, I mean, horribly, yes, taking advantage of their women. I couldn't stand against that. But the fact of the matter is that they created an entire new breed of people because these were two different types of races, but still the same breed. And the reason why I keep saying the same breed is because are we Homo sapien or Homo sapien sapien? Which one is it? Like we have to pick one. We have
Is
to
race
pick one.
biological?
I'm not asking that, ma'am. What I'm saying is, are
I'm
we
asking
Homo
you because we're
sapien
having a
or
conversation.
Homo
So I'm
sapiens
responding.
sapien? Which one are we?
Hold on. I don't know who you're talking about because there's a difference in cell biology here. So I'm asking you a question in response to what you're saying because you're saying race, but this is a conversation about speciation. And then you're talking about Homo sapien versus Homo sapien. Are you aware that Homo sapiens and Homo sapiens have introgressed genes? They are not the same amongst themselves. I can put that on the screen for you right now, at least 5 different sources. So Homo neanderthalis, Homo floresiensis, Homo sapiens sapien, Homo erectus, all of it are the genes have been introgressed. Introgression is where you take genetic material from one species and you introgress them through hybridization, and there's 7 different types: electroporation, sonoporation, racemization, transfection. The list goes on and on. So I'm asking you a real question. Yes or no,
So
please,
we
so I
just
can
keep
get back to
moving
fleeing
the
being.
moving the
Yes or
goalposts.
no? Hold on, Hokage. Yes or no? Is race biological? And then we'll just get back to you.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Why wouldn't it be?
So race is telling me about your biology and your genetics.
Absolutely.
Explain to me quickly in 2
No,
sentences
no,
or
no, no,
less
no, no.
how.
You asked me a question.
All right, go ahead, Fling Bean. I'm not finna do semantics. Like, if you want to come up here and talk, then talk. If you're gonna play, then you know what I'm saying, we'll move on or you can leave. Go ahead, Fling Bean.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Um, yeah, so I'm listening to everything you guys are saying whilst I'm walking. I'm currently at the train station in London. However, I am also aware that if y'all don't have degrees, I'm not sure if you do or if you don't, that this could be heavy misinformation because you guys are talking about very extensively studied topics like biochemistry, and if you don't have a degree in it, then it's likely that you're spreading heavy misinformation right now, and I'm probably gonna have to leave.
Leave,
But
Fling
I'll
Bean.
listen.
Yeah,
Nobody.
What is a
you can
damn
leave.
Yeah.
You
degree,
can
bro?
leave.
The thing
So you
is,
need a degree to read?
you don't need a degree.
To
The
read?
fuck?
You don't need a degree. Hold on, we gotta mute you because it's too loud on your end. You don't need a degree to understand 9th grade biology. What's wrong with us reading books written by the people with PhDs? We're sitting next to our biology textbook, next to our anatomy and physiology textbook, next to our books about embryology, next to our books about matriarch, next to our books about early civilization. Why do we need a degree? Why can't we just so-called study under the same people with the degrees? Why do you need a degree for 9th grade biology, prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Children can have this. Do you understand that we've held this discussion with 14-year-olds?
And they have more overstanding than the adults who has been
Yep.
brainwashed.
Yep. And they leave. You see what I'm saying? They say, "Oh, this is heavily," but you yourself can debunk what I'm saying.
And you requested up in a conversation and you don't have a degree. Like, what the hell? Like,
And a degree is just a piece of knowledge, a piece of light. You see what I'm saying? We
And
are
then
the entire that
isn't
we. Yeah,
isn't
go
it
ahead, mother.
360 degrees? So one degree ain't crap. It's nothing. You
But
need
you have to
more.
understand,
You gotta go to hella colleges to get all them degrees. Then you see
and
what I'm
the
right?
thing
saying?
is, the people with the degrees are studying us and our planet. Like, that's it, y'all. There's
What we doing?
hold on. In synthetic biology, they are watching nature. They are watching consciousness and they are replicating it in a lab to the best of their ability. They want to be able to intervene and dissect and splice more, but they can't because of cells being coated in neuromelanin. You can't splice light with light. That's why I was trying to tell the sister that was in here earlier, like, oh, we're the ones that created them because we were the original scientists. Why didn't you come in here saying that? Why didn't you come in here saying that your people are the original scientists then? You said that science was evil. Now when I gave you the facts, oh, now we did it. No, the fuck we didn't. Y'all got to start understanding and approaching life with more of a scientific perspective because in science, titles don't exist. Race, white, black, that shit does not exist in a conversation about science. When y'all are live every day talking about West African DNA versus Black American DNA, can you please tell me the genetic composition of West African DNA? Why are you telling me that your percentages of land masses, and then these are the same people that ask me for degrees?
Yep.
You don't need a degree to understand common basic sense, y'all. But
y'all are subscribing to percentages of land masses, and you're subscribing to being a human, which is percentages of animals. So what are you? That's dissociative personality disorder. That's what it is. That's focuses in the brain. How can you be a percentage of that when we are 100% of solar DNA, magnetic DNA?
Go ahead, Divine.
Yeah, I don't understand how
Wait,
like
Divine.
Hold on, D. We'll get my bad.
We're gonna circle back to you, brother. My fault. We just
she
have
was
to.
saying me, my fault.
Nah, you good, brother. You good.
Is
Go
somebody
ahead.
up here?
Divine Ascension 888. You can go ahead.
Well, basically, I just want to say, I appreciate y'all for having this topic because this is something that I think most people should have as a conversation piece because it's very important. Because it's like the brother said, he look at it from a biological standpoint, but like she said, these are things that they did purposely. They altered their DNA. So now if they alter their DNA, they are a new species, but we don't want to talk about that. But it's like go out in the wild and find a cow. So if they created a cow and they created a chicken and they created certain nuts and certain fruits, or they altered the DNA or the construct genetically of things, why do we think that they didn't do the same thing with theirs? And I asked the question to y'all because I know what your answer gonna be. If DNA has been altered or it has been changed because it was actually changed, does that create a new species?
It depends on what you're talking about. So let me give you this background for a second. What we're talking about is introgression. That is how white people, Asian, Dravidians got here. Is when you take genetic material from other organisms and you introgress them through different types of hybridization. So essentially, yes, that is genetic modification. When they breed with us, that creates an entirely different species that is a hybrid. So you have the Cubanos, the tanned Italians, you got these Dominicans,
The
you got
biracials.
the biracials that now have a little bit of our DNA or our neuromelanin, but it does not stem from our embryology. They only have the melanin from mixing, and it's in low concentrations because whatever the mother is, because her X chromosome rules is whatever the child is. So we really got to get out of this. Well, my daddy is black or my mama is white, but I'm darker than you. Darker don't matter in this discussion. It's about what the composition of the melanin. If there's 3 types synonymous with, well, really we can't throw out the other types because these people are introgressed. So we got to talk about all 5 types of melanin and then understand their composition. Pheomelanin can only interact with visible light. You see what I'm saying? Neuromelanin can absorb the entire spectrum. So when these people's mother is white, they are pheomelanin. So the darker or the eumelanin, the brown black complexion that they're talking about, come from animals. They don't, the koala bears, sloth, that type of brown dark, bats, Dravidians, like the so-called continental Indians. You see what I'm saying? That's the brown and black that they're talking about with eumelanin. The Middle Eastern. Because eumelanin is on the same spectrum as pheomelanin. Like the mother just said, one is just sulfur and one is just nitrogen base. And certain points throughout their life, those will turn into each other. So, even though you see somebody so-called darker and they are biracial, that's darker pigmentation of pheomelanin, darker pigmentation of eumelanin. That don't mean that, Obama is a white man.
Yep.
And it doesn't dismiss his father, but the X chromosome rules. Her womb constructs the child, and she's been carrying that egg cell her whole life. Ever since she was a child, she's been carrying the ovum, and the sperm through a zinc spark is what creates fertilization. He's just sparking life that's already present within her. Does that answer your question?
Well, you kind of you just gave me what I knew you were gonna say, but what I'm saying is, it's like when you talk about the species of new species of creation, all of that kind of goes out the window because there was a thing that they purposely did to themselves, and that's bloodletting. That was the oldest form of cloning. They actually took the species that they created as the white man, which they came from the Middle East. So they took they took their genes and they altered them, if you want to use the word alter.
Who is
I say
they?
Yeah,
alter.
who's they?
Well, they are the ones who eventually became Greeks and what they call now Romans. Like I said, they used the ancient practice called bloodletting. That's how they clone. That's how they got the cow. That's how they got the two-hump camel. Like, that's a new species, but technically, do you call it a new species? See, that's what I'm asking, because if you say it's a new species, it's kind of hard to like take it back like how they did cows, because you don't really know the original species unless you actually have to do a whole lot of digging to figure out what two animals or three animals they put together to create a cow, or what
You
two
can
three.
just do that. You can just do just what you just said. For
Yeah.
instance, the grapefruit, it has a lot of benefits, but for whose anatomy consider that it's here through orbital hybridization. The parent fruit to a grapefruit is a pomelo. Its genes have been introgressed with the sour orange. The sour orange has hybridized genetics. So you can trace it back. You'll just be there until next year, probably doing it. And that's why understanding their genomics, understanding that the neuromelanin that they may have in those low concentrations come from the hybridized plants, animals, and insects. It's not just cows and pigs, y'all. They had to start with microorganisms, plants, animals, and insects. But the reason why I asked who they was is because it didn't just start with white people. Asians are hybridized, or they have introgressed genes. You see what I'm saying? Dravidians, Arabs. You see what I'm saying? And genetically, they predate the Caucasian. That's why the Caucasian is called the Caucasian, because the Asian predates him. You see what I'm saying? The Arab came before the white man. That's why we got to start understanding titles don't matter. One of the first people to ever so-called enslave us was the Asian man. We forget about the Asiatic slave trade. But beyond that, these people didn't create themselves. There's other life forms than scientists admit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for sure. If you're studying genetics all over the planet, you already know that, because they classify things that you wouldn't even consider to be extraterrestrial based off of their genetics. So,
and organisms, they know when they're being observed, so they wouldn't perform certain functions when on camera. You see what I'm saying? That they do for the planet. So, like, there's organisms that don't look like no human, no nothing on the planet. And there's stones and statues all over South America, all over the world, India, of these reptilian organisms who have been genetically splicing organisms on this planet for over 200,000 years.
And see, that's what I'm saying, because like, even if you look through history, like I say, even when if you go back and you say, okay, Asianic, you got Afro-Asianic, you got all different kinds of Asianic, but what I'm saying is, when we start talking about getting to like the Semitic people, they're just the older form of another people. Like I say, I know where it began, but I'm saying where it was actually finished. And like you saying that there was, I guess, what they would call extraterrestrial. That's possible. I don't deny that. But what I'm saying, but what I'm actually saying is, like, there's history of people doing this, like, even prior to that, like, it was a process, and that was the finished product. But it wasn't like it was accidental. Like, what I'm saying is, a lot of people say it was accidental. It wasn't accidental. If I make you my slave, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do to you, and that's been a part of the world's history from the beginning of their time. So they've been doing this and they've been practicing. Like, they even doing it now. So it hasn't stopped. They just
want
do
you
it
to define who
covertly.
they is,
Yeah,
because that's
what are you talking
I'm
about?
following you, but I'm not, because I don't know who they is.
Well, I mean, if you take it with the Asiatic slave trade, the Asiatic slave trade was basically a regrouping of history, because timelines don't really exist the way that the people who actually created time, the Semitics actually created
True.
time, not Egyptians. But we are
Yeah.
taught that Egyptians done it, but Egypt didn't even exist when the Semitics took over. That was not even a history. They got two totally different languages. But when you speak of like time, they created time. Okay, so then we start with the time they created, which starts before the BC. But they don't have record of that time because they actually switched the system. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, they changed the system every 3,500 years, and they change things within it every 500 years. So it's kind of hard to like get a true grouping of who was separate, who was together, who wasn't together. But then you look at the trading metropolises, throughout history, and it shows like these are the people who was actually trading at this such and such time that they give us, and these people were trading. These are the people that enslaved. Yeah, but at the same time, what I'm saying is they've been doing this for a long time. And what I mean is just those who have been in control of certain areas at a time. Like it even goes back to, like he said, the Mongols. The Mongols is way later in time. The Mongols were created people. They wasn't natural. Like a lot of these people that we consider natural wasn't natural. They was a mixture of other things that created who they were. What I'm saying is, how can you actually get back to the beginning when our history only goes back to 1 BC, basically? No matter which BC you use, it's still going to be 1 BC, which is anywhere from 3,000, 3,500 to 5,500 years, when there was things going on way before that we don't really have a direct, concise history of.
Through your genetics,
We do.
through your DNA.
Through genetics, and also in the hardest stones known to man, this story was depicted. The first slaves that you're mentioning were these people we're talking about. They are the original slaves. So they were depicted on leashes, on all fours, with hypertrichosis, vestigial tails. They couldn't speak, they couldn't reproduce. And their oldest text is the Sumerian text, where all this is depicted being done by extraterrestrials.
Yep. And their main job when they were created and were on leashes was to mine gold. You see what I'm saying? And where does gold, the element gold, come from? It comes from alkaloids from our pineal organ in our third ventricle of our brain. You see what I'm saying? We produce gold, silver, diamond, all in our bodies. You see what I'm saying? So they were meant to mine gold, the golden race. We are the golden race. That's why right now we were the first thing to ever get sold. We were the first people to ever genetically be spliced into. You see what I'm saying? As a people.
When you say,
And also Earth. Like, let's not even skip over Earth and our connection, because chemblites, diamonds, crystals, water, even how they talk about water, and even in its crystalline state, is the fourth state of matter, y'all.
Yeah.
So solids, liquids, gas, plasma, energy, crystalline. You see what I'm saying? So, crystalline when we're talking about water, solids, liquid, gas. Crystalline is the fourth state. So when we're talking about mining the golden race, the planet is giving off that's what blood diamonds is about. Chemblites, magma, cooling. When she releases pressure, cyclical, vertical energy, that horizontal flow of energy, when it produces those diamonds, is the same thing. That's why they're drilling holes. That's why our Congolese, Kenyan brothers are over there mining right now for crystals to put in the phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to know, when you say they, we got to get clear on who they is, because if white people couldn't have created themselves, Asians couldn't have created themselves, and Arabs couldn't, and then for them to have mixed with us when they weren't even somatically able to do so, to beginning, we got to get clear on who is responsible for their existence. And that's what we need to be talking about every day. Who created these people? Somebody said Yakub. Yakub just means subplanter. That's what that translate. That Yakub translates to subplanter. So that's just saying that someone, something, an entity or whatever was subplanting genetics.
Not a black man.
That doesn't equate to a black man.
And the etymology of eukaryotic cell is truly seeded nucleus. So somebody subplanted
seeded the nucleus.
And seeded the nucleus with different DNA from different organisms to make an organism. This is how the eukaryotic cell came about. You see what I'm saying? And that's why this person or this entity has the evolution theory put out. You know what I'm saying? He wrote the Bible. He wrote all of these different religions. He's a master poet. It's all to psychologically entrap us.
What y'all saying is kind of psychologically entrapment, because it's like, at one point, like she said, water was the lifeblood of this whole planet. Water actually created things that people wouldn't even believe water could do back in the day. Like there was even hydraulic systems based on water that even the people today wouldn't be able to figure out, because it was pressure. And pressure does create a lot of different things once it's been allowed to actually go about its natural course for thousands of years. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we only talking from, and y'all say 30,000 years. Most of the authors who even
No,
wrote
we
about
haven't,
this
brother. I'm
topic
gonna
Yo,
come clean. You might be confusing us with another convert. We haven't said
Many
Mongols
years.
30,000. Yeah, we haven't said none of that.
yeah,
I
we
know y'all
haven't said
didn't
none of
say
that.
it. But what I'm saying is, like, what I'm asking you is, where's the true documentation that goes back beyond the years that has been established?
That's what I
Regardless,
just said. The in the hardest stones
Could
known
I
to.
share something real
Go
quick?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go back to when the void, the darkness, out of the darkness and the void, and then there was the water. Now, melanin is the only thing that splits water. You get it? So go back to the primordial water. That's why we are the mirrors, because we are from the primordial. We are the ones who split water. Our melanin split water so that we could have been the atom, the proton, and the neurons, because it comes from that water molecule.
and water is simply just basically melanin. It's just liquid melanin. That's all water is.
Well,
It's
I
down to
mean,
liquid to melanin.
it is the because you have to have plasma and the water. You know what I mean? The plasma is the water kind of. You know what I mean?
Can I say something? Can I say something? So here's the thing, because the brother is saying like, what concrete proof do we have? Like, and I keep trying
No,
to tell
no,
my.
no, no. I'm not asking for concrete proof, not meaning to cut you off. I'm not saying concrete proof. But what I'm just simply saying is we go back to the people who actually started to actually conglomerate the history, because it's a conglomerate, it's a monopoly. Like if you go back to most of the people who actually are credited with writing the history, other than who they say just based on word of mouth, but as far as documentation and study, who's giving credit, and that's why I say who's giving credit, they all Masons, and she say more Mur, but I know who the Mur are, and the Mur is like a depiction. If you go back and you look at who the Mur really were, the Mur were basically the descendants of the Phoenicians. And we don't talk about Phoenicians, but Phoenicians are very important. They was very
Yes,
highly
we
skilled
do.
people.
We
I
do
No, no,
talk
s-
I'm not
about him.
saying
So
that.
I
here's the
I'm not
hold
wait,
saying
on,
that
hold
y'all
on.
don't.
y'all. I'm just trying to say something I've been trying to say for like 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, 1 second, I'll open the panel again. The point that I'm trying to make is we also have concrete proof or proof of this taking place, because you're asking me about speciation, hybridization, and introgression. We have that depicted before these people that you're talking about. Whatever time frame that you gave earlier, up to like 5,500 years ago, we had that proof then. That goes back to that same time, which marks them coming out of the caves. So what I'm trying to get everybody to understand in here is that through chronobiology, through studying the planet, also tells us the age of things. So when it comes to water, like how he's talking about, oh, a lot of people don't know. My brother, we are not vibing the way we are supposed to. We cannot just be going back 700 years ago, 7,000 years ago. We got to take it back a few million, couple billion to see what was really going on. We got to study all life. We got to pay attention. Earth's rotation was knocked off 40.4 degrees. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to the water, what brings water information is consciousness. Those molecules come together and are bound by consciousness. All right. So we can study these things and understand them to a way deeper level, but you'll never see the truth if you're looking through historical documentation. You don't need history. You don't need documentation to tell you what was happening on the planet. You can look at trees. We just don't study trees. We don't study that how trees age. We don't, or so-called age. We don't understand that the rusted state that we're in right now is a rusted state. These metals, these heavy metals that are in the air, what have they done to our system for us to be saying that we're copper colored?
Heavily oxidized.
Heavily oxidized, right? And that's when things begin to rust. So it's
Free
like,
radicals.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that like, oh, 7,000 years ago, but our people's genetics don't go back is older than the planet, if we really being real. And they will tell you that 13.4 billion years old is how old the earth is, and our DNA goes back 13.6 billion. It's older than the planet itself. All the water that is here is also on other planets as well. You see what I'm saying? The cosmos is, so if we're studying planets, if we're studying space, which is neuromelanin, if we're studying stars, which is how we come into fruition, binary fusion versus nuclear fusion. You don't need a white man, an Arab, or an Asian man to tell you who you are. Not when we're connected to the globe. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead,
That's
John.
why I said primordial, because I mean, we have to be great listeners if we're going to be speakers too. I did say primordial, meaning I went way, I said the darkness out of the dark and the void and the water. Okay? So that doesn't put me in your realm of where you're at, because the ancients are not like the people today. So when you say, oh, you know who the Moors are and all that, okay, because you're one too if your mother is a melanated woman.
You know what?
However,
One at a time.
his story will always take you out of your greatness. So it's everyone have
Yeah.
choice.
That
You could
shit
be
really get on my nerves, y'all. And it keeps being the elders. If y'all can't have why is it so hard for y'all to have a genuine conversation, y'all? Why can't we do one at a time? Why can't we speak and let each other's frequency flow? Why can't we speak without cutting each other off? Okay. So between last night and today, that's like the fourth person that didn't left when we just asking for respect. All right. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, mother. I just have to acknowledge that when y'all come in here and ask us questions and then start trying to tell us that we low key wrong, then you want us to prove it. And then we say, hold on. And now y'all want to leave. It becomes combative. We got to stop that. This is just TikTok. This is just having a conversation about who we are on a phone that we're not even supposed to be on. So we can't let that shit separate us from hearing each other, from perceiving. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, mother.
That is so 100, and that's the message, because that's why, we have to know ourselves as macrocosmical beings. Then we will get out of this crap and this mess that has been designed for a nation. Only, I always, from I was little, I knew about this one chair. There is always, when it comes into politics or whatever, at the end of the year, they do this ritual with this one chair. And there's always one chair that not ever had anyone sitting on it, and they flip it and they put it back in. And they do this ritual from November all the way to maybe January, March, when their fiscal year starts back. Okay. Now, I always wonder why. Why is that chair empty? And the answer came. When have we been a nation? And we've been a nation was way ancient Kemet. That one chair has been sorcerized because this one nation has been so divided by every scientific information, every biblical story, every diabolical anything you could think of, they put it on us. Oh, black is wicked and this and that, and we is this and that. And now when we come with the 100% of facts, we are HAT full, we are RAIST, we are everything other than factual. And I'm like, wow, what we need to do, put the books up there and read it? Then you always say, oh, they're telling facts. And then you're going to say, who wrote the books?
And then they're going to say, oh, that's white science. Just like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to come at the mother. I'm just using it as an example. Like, she came in here saying science was evil and then flipped it and said, oh, we did it. I'm like, huh? So the thing is like, y'all be hating on science for real, man. Y'all really be hating on science, but I don't see our people being freed by history. I don't see our people being freed by his narrative, his story, his documentation, his titles, his reparations, his cultivation that we call culture. We sitting here taking pride in oppression, man. And then in everything that they've done to us through history, then we sitting here, I guess, discussing it on this app. Well, they reclassify. We were really the Moors. We really the Indians. We really the Black Americans. We don't know who the fuck we are.
And we want to be fair in their political system.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
We want to be fair in their animal courts. We want to have a name, a place. You see what I'm saying? When this planet belongs to us and they shouldn't have no infrastructure on this planet. That's how we should be moving.
They don't belong nowhere on this planet. You see what I'm saying? I'm still seeing people say, oh, go back to the caves. We not sending them back there. Radiation penetrates everything. That cave that you want, a lot of the caves, y'all are forgetting they're megalithic structures too. They need just as much homage as the pyramids. These caves mimic our mother's vaginal canal leading up to the womb. What are the pyramids depict? The womb. The what I just said, I don't know if that's a trigger word, the V word. So the thing is, and those pyramids also align with what? The stars. So I don't understand. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm so-called black and blue in the face. We can't be going pyramid for pyramid and landmass for landmass without understanding how land is created and what pyramids are for. We can't be talking about, oh, well, we had to have done it, because if you can't explain to me how it was done, don't say we did it.
And stop lying to children.
Stop lying to yourself more than anything.
Yeah.
Because that's what'll stop you lying to children, is literally, if you face the truth your damn self.
The truth not being spoken within is what's holding you back.
Yeah. So we gotta start. Yeah, go ahead, mother. Go ahead.
Who is telling their children that the man walked on the moon? You know what I'm saying? Our people have to, we have to unlearn, relearn, and learn. And it's so difficult to unlearn, to relearn. So how are they gonna learn if they can't do that part?
Yeah, we don't even know what is considered to be a proper source. When we talk about trees and nature, they telling us, oh, go hug a tree. That's not reality. I said, so damn, trees don't help you breathe for you to say that fucked up ass shit you just said? So trees don't exist in your reality, but you breathing right now. Yeah. So water don't exist in your reality. The earth that you're walking on, talking like that in her womb, that mimics yours, is not in your reality.
The reason why you have plants, trees, fruits is because of dragonflies, wasps, and bees. You see what I'm saying? Wasps are natural fertilizer. Bees are they pollinate. Dragonflies, they pollinate. They remove mosquitoes out of all unnatural environments and natural environments.
Facts. And speaking of mosquitoes, those are introgressed.
Yeah, hybridized.
Genetically modified. They need blood from other organisms to create offspring. That's unnatural. That's unnatural.
The military did that because naturally they do nectar, pollen, but when they do suck the blood, when they do that, they produce like 300 babies one time. But in the natural sense, they only produce like 5.
Yeah, but in order for them to sustain, they gotta have blood for other organisms, period. You see what I'm saying? So that if they were able to produce those 5, it's probably because of what was passed to them from their parents doing, you know what I'm saying? Because even like, I think it was last year, they just talked about how they released 500,000 new mosquitoes or something like that. And there's a lot of, I know that there's, from when I was a child until now, there's like 3 different mosquitoes. It's hella new mosquitoes from when I was a child. I don't even see crane flies like that no more. Like, I don't know. It's like we seen crane flies for a couple of weeks. They disappeared and now we got new mosquitoes. I'm not sure what the hell is going on with that, you know? So there's a lot of splicing and genetic modification that's taking place, and our people don't want to admit that, you know? We think stuff like corn is culture, like, oh, we was eating corn. No, we wasn't, y'all. We was eating corn, but we weren't supposed to. Our bodies do not break down and digest corn because it is a hybridized so-called vegetable. It doesn't even have barely any nutrition. I wouldn't even call it a vegetable. You know what I'm saying? And it's very, you have to be very careful, especially around those talking points with the American Indians, because they really are passing down knowledge to the children about taking pride in things like Thanksgiving, like the Thanksgiving foods, like, as we know, beans, corn, carrots, and shit like that. That's why our people don't need them fucking reparations. Because if y'all get them reparations and y'all get that land back, y'all are not gonna know what to plant. You're not gonna know how to tend to the land. You're not gonna know what's supposed to be here and what's not, because you don't know how to feed your own anatomy.
He said, "Thank you for giving me your natural organic land while I feed you these poisonous hybridized fruits and vegetables on the plate."
That was a thing that
was a psychological entrapment.
Thank you for giving. Thanksgiving.
Thank you for giving me the land. Thank you.
So
and we celebrating that shit. We getting mad. We want money from these people so we can go buy fruits and vegetables in artificial climated environments when nature, you see what I'm saying, is giving us this for free. She's reading our brain waves, our electromagnetic waves from our body, and saying, okay, I need to start producing echinacea, dandelions to help them with their blood issues. She's caring about you. Whole time you're walking over the fruits and natural vegetables and plants and wildflowers to go to the store to get candy, to get meat. You see what I'm saying? And you say, oh, my body's sick. But Earth is literally responding to you by growing the fruits and vegetables and plants that you need based off your frequency that you sending out.
Thanks.
So if you're sending out frequency like my body is damaged, my body is hurt, it needs healing, it needs to heal, she will start to grow these things. That's why you see around a lot of black people's neighborhoods, you start to see dandelion a lot, because it cleans out 95% of cancerous cells and it cleans out your blood.
Yeah, we have a lot of blood issues, and those are the main things. If you pay attention to what's growing around you right now, we're in a colder environment than what I'm used to, specifically me. But there's yarrow growing here. There's a lot of berries growing here. So when I got here, I knew that our people that are here are struggling with blood issues. That's the number one thing that I see here is yarrow. A lot of these berries are good for they're anti-inflammatory, they're high in antioxidants. So everywhere you go on the planet, she's responding, she's talking. The thing is, you don't understand her frequency.
You're not picking up the
phone. You
think
the frequency is talking. I'm hearing it in real time. I heard two mothers yesterday discussing when you begin to know the information that you really are Indian, then nature will begin to respond to you. I said, nature don't know this speech that we're speaking. It actually destroys the auditory cortex in our temporal lobe. This language doesn't create audible friction for our brains. It was for the opposite species, because they're not connected to the planet, so they need a way to communicate. We always communicated, and we're still communicating through telepathy.
Yep.
Before you can talk, you have to create that neural pathway thank you. You see what I'm saying? That thought is telepathy, telecommunication. Pathway, telecommunication means and path. You see what I'm saying? The pathway that you are communicating that energy or communicating that message. So when we say you're no longer at this frequency to receive that message, that's real. Most of the people that's not in your life right now is because y'all are not in the same frequency to communicate. That's what's first. You think, oh, she not texting back. They not calling. Y'all not in the same frequency to communicate energetically. Everything manifests there first. You see what I'm saying? Who's actually controlling the body? Is it you or is it the consciousness? See what I mean? So what is that the same thing for their body as well? Of course it is. So y'all are communicating through consciousness before you communicate physically.
Through a flow of electrons.
The conversations that you're having physically is telling me about your frequency. That's why we can't be talking to y'all. No, I'm just playing.
But like for real though, like your consciousness, when we speak in these languages, it slows down. It causes resistance on electrons. You see what I'm saying? Which is how information flows up and down your spine to your brain. So it causes that resistance, and it causes your body to absorb less electromagnetism and utilize that energy for daily functions. So
Truth.
Go ahead, Truth.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I can go ahead. I mean, but I was just making sure my mic was being heard.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think about the prompt?
What did I think about what?
The prompt. Yeah, what's on the screen, my
Oh,
brother? Go
are we the
ahead.
same species?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But here
Okay.
it is, though. Here's the thing, though. Everything it's I don't even know where to start with this, but I'm a
Yeah,
second
yeah.
mind.
What do you mean by absolutely not? Like who? What organisms are you talking about? Can
Is
you
every
explain that?
tree the same tree? Is every plant the same plant?
But
Nope.
who are you talking
Yeah.
about? BLK people and everybody else, or
I'm talking about
Africans versus Americans?
anybody that got a body. Are they all Puerto Rican? Are they all Mexican? I mean, but do they supposed to be? Of course some were created differently somewhere or whatever. As close as you can get to nature, you should be able to identify who was the first. It's not really hard. But what does but check this out. Check this out. Does all this matter? Yes. Why? Why? Because we believe we're on a planet that's floating through space, right? Round. It's not round, but everybody was told, and all this, everything we was told was a lie, but we forget that, and we argue
Who
about
lied?
everything else. Check this out, though. Here it is.
Hold,
Here's
hold
the
on.
point. Let's start at one point. Let's start at one point. One point. What point? It depends on where the person is looking from, his vantage point. I mean, if you think we on a Earth, or do you think we are in a simulation? Do you think we're in a quantum computer? Would all that matter if we was in a quantum computer? We say, how does all these other cities under cities? If let's just say this place was where they created most of the what they say the simulations. They said it was 5 or 6 or whatever, and this supposed to be a reset here. They're tricking everybody to go along with all that history, which was a lie, because everything they told you was a lie. The truth is, everything is ones and zeros. You're in a quantum computer. You're in a computer. They always talk about play the game.
Okay.
Brother,
Do you know
are we
what?
the
Do you?
same? Are we the same species? You
Yeah.
just
Okay. Let me
because
say
there's
this.
somebody else that want to speak, and then we'll let you answer this, and then we'll
On a
get to them and
species,
what
okay,
you
I can
ask.
go to the
Yeah,
species.
because you said quantum computer and then you started saying ones and zeros. That's not quantum computer. Quantum computer is built off photons, light. So this is a vibrational light universe. So within this vibrational light universe, are black people or so-called black people around the planet the same species as everybody outside of so-called black people? That's what I'm asking, because it does matter, because our children are going missing at alarming rates, our women are going missing at an alarming rates, and they are the creators of matter. So I want to know why our people are neglecting the fact that our people are missing and being poisoned at alarming rates all over the globe. So can you tell me, are we the same species?
Yes, every human is the same
Hold,
species.
hold
Hold
on
on,
for a
scribe.
second.
I'm just
We're gonna get to you, Scribe.
we
We do
just
one
trying
at
to
a time.
finish with him.
Yeah, after we get to him, we'll go back to you. Then we'll circle around, man. Everybody gets a turn here. So go ahead, Truth, and answer. Are we the same species? Is so-called black people the same species as everybody outside of them? Go ahead and answer that.
And you're on mute, Truth. We just sent you an invite to turn your microphone
Oh,
back on.
Yep.
am I
There you
on?
go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead,
We
Go
are
brother.
ahead.
not we are not the same. For the simple fact, we cannot reproduce. Like what makes the donkey? I mean, what makes the mule, the horse, and the donkey? But when it's breeded, it can't reproduce. The mule is sterile. It can't reproduce. It can't copulate with another mule and make another mule. It can't do it. It needs a horse and a donkey to make a mule. They were not compatible. They were crossbred, and you made something just like the grapefruit. Okay, now, so if we got to take Rogaine or whatever in order to breed, then it was against the laws of physics or whatever you want to call it. It was not
I got
natural.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Simple.
That's true.
We understand what you're saying now. Thank you for that. We'll get right back to you and Aya. Go ahead, scribe or scribe. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
actually, according to biology, every human is a same species. And like even if you are black, white, I'm not being racist. I'm just Like, can I use that word?
You can go ahead and express. Just don't use any non-TikTok friendly language. Just go ahead and express
Okay,
that.
I won't use anything non-friendly. Okay, so every human being is of same species. Like, we live in different geographical areas because of that our skin color is different. So according to science and a verified fact, every human being contains the same genetical material, and therefore we are same species. You know how is species classified in science and biology, right? Like, you know the life tree, like family, animal family trees.
Yeah.
According to that, yeah,
Yeah, the Punnett Square, which has been outdated for several years, but go ahead.
yeah, that is not outdated. It's
It
always getting
is.
updated. So
The Punnett
so
Square
every
is
human being
extremely
is the same
outdated.
species, and the
Okay.
truth was saying something like. Then I have one question. Can I ask
Mm-hmm.
one question?
Mm-hmm.
So like, truth was saying something like the everyone is lying to us, and like something along that line. So I want to ask one question like, how can the science, science can be tested, right? So and every individual can test scientific fact themselves. So in the like there are millions of scientists around the globe, so how can every one of them lie and keep that fact hidden? Like, it would be a global conspiracy. So saying that scientists are lying to you and government is hiding stuff which can definitely be proven by doing some physics and testing it for yourself. It is just, I don't know how to say it. Like, how can you say
Yeah.
everyone is lying to you? Like, you
No,
can
that's
just
not.
test it.
So what the brother is saying is that's he's speaking for himself. That doesn't have anything to do with what we know and understand. So in response to
And
what you're saying, BLK scientists, so-called BLK scientists, white scientists, Swedish scientists, Italian scientists, South American scientists, Brazilian scientists, scientists all over the world are saying that we never went from haploids to diploids though. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying that evolution, there is fact in that theory. They scientists do admit that eukaryotes and prokaryotes are in existence, but they're not saying that eukaryotes evolved from prokaryotes. They're actually saying, and I can put it on the screen for you several different ways, that the main distinction between these two cellular form types is the fact that one was here for billions of years functioning in a unicellular way, all organisms that were here, versus eukaryotes that just randomly got here. And so the origin of the eukaryotic cell, there is no explanation for that besides introgression and hybridization. So we're not saying that scientists are lying. You just have to understand the point that scientists are making. Yeah, the distinction between prokaryotes and eukaryotes is considered to be the most important distinction among groups of organisms. And depending on the scientists, they will say all life.
oh,
So, how do prokaryotes and eukaryotes function differently in nature?
Yep, because the bottom is that's prokaryotes and the top is eukaryotes.
Are you able to answer that?
I cannot answer that. I don't know.
Hmm. But you,
You said
but you said
according
that
to
we were.
biology we are the same, and she just broke it down through biology how we're not the same and how your evolution
No,
theory
no,
is
no,
not
no. That's
proven.
not it.
You just say
The
you couldn't
species.
answer.
I mean, the cell. You mean the eukaryotes and prokaryotes are different. You said, are we the same species? You
Yeah.
and from that question, I
Oh,
suppose
okay.
you were asking if all the humans are same. Isn't that right?
We were asking if they were the same species, but in order to understand speciation, you cannot talk about things like race and ethnic groups because those are not synonymous with biology. So we have to
Yeah.
talk about prokaryotes and eukaryotes, which are cells, right?
And their
Because that's
functionality.
biology. So when it comes to how we function in nature, we're not doing the same things under the sun. We don't synthesize proteins the same. We don't biosynthesize the sun the same. There's 3 or 5 different types of melanin. So, and all of them respond different to the sun. So
No, no.
again,
Can I ask you?
Go ahead. And
Can I say
yes,
something?
but go ahead. You said
So,
no, but I'm saying yes. Go ahead.
so when you ask, are we the same species? You mean the same species between everyone in the earth, like every plant and stuff, or
No, I'm
did you
talking
just mean
about
humans?
so-called humans. The reason why we have to talk about those types of organisms is because your people, due to incomplete dominance, they share DNA with pyomelanated organisms, allomelanated organisms, and pheomelanated organisms. So we have to talk about all life because y'all are composed of multiple different organisms to make up your genomics.
Yep.
We don't pass information down like y'all do, or y'all don't. It's arguably scientists are saying that y'all are not living and that y'all don't pass down information like prokaryotes do.
Yep.
Prokaryotes make replications of themselves. The first replication in that process is known as daughter cells, and we know that DNA is passed from the grandmother to the mother to the daughter. That's how we pass down information.
Binary fission.
Y'all don't pass down information like that, which is why y'all constantly need programming. You constantly need school. The cells have to be programmed. They have to be tamed. That's why there's so much food, genetically modified food, because that's what helps keep your genetics in so-called check, but it destroys ours. And that's why you see a difference in disease with our people versus yours. Go ahead.
So, like, what you are saying is, can you explain it once more? Like, you mean your people and our people? What does, what are you implying here?
Everybody outside of the so-called black race all over the globe is a completely different species than us. So Asians, Dravidians, white people, if they procreate with us, but their mother is any of those, then they are not us either, because that is a hybridized, according to speciation, that's a hybrid. And the X chromosome rules because she's the one carrying the egg her whole life. So you are your mother's child because you're composed of mainly her DNA. You're literally wearing your mother's skin, and you've inherited her nervous system. 40 to 60% of your IQ comes from your mother. The rest is influenced by your environment, which is why I say y'all constantly need programming. So half of what we're seeing you do is because of those incomplete dominant, those incompatible genetics, and the other half is the fucked up environment.
So, like, what do you mean? What are you implying by meaning needing to be programmed?
School,
Talk.
work, food, um, social conditioning, social
Vaccines.
constructs like racism,
Given
race,
laws,
laws
thou
is a
shalt
good
not kill
one.
thy.
You see what I'm saying? So all of that is programming street lights. And speaking of street lights, it's y'all typically are at the street lights way longer than we are because of neuromelanin. Y'all's genetics are not properly communicating with themselves in enough time to be able to like go when the light is actually green.
That's kind of far fetched there. But I know a European baby can't hold his head up. His motor skills is real.
Let me put that on the screen. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
we
You
actually
know.
have a thing on the screen we're finna put on about
Right.
how our children develop at faster rates. You see what I'm saying?
And that's due to embryology. We don't stem from the same embryological origin as them. They're not producing neuromelanin. They're born with their pineal glands calcified.
At 13 or something like that.
What do you
It
mean by
calcifies at 13 or 12. They born with it functioning slightly.
No, they're not
they're
born
not.
with it.
They're born with it calcified and closed, and around depending on who we're talking about, because of incomplete dominance, they don't their pineal glands actually don't open at all. It depends on who we're talking about. Some of them, as they age, it begins to open, but that's because of abnormal amounts of allomelanin, not because of neuromelanin, not because of them stemming from the same embryology as us.
Yeah.
You know what? That
That's
that
why
just made
that's
me.
why they eat melatonin vitamins and stuff like that, because
But
they don't have their pineal gland doesn't produce serotonin and melatonin at the correct circadian rhythm.
let me ask you this: don't y'all remember? Am I the only one to remember? Because I just remembered this, just at this moment, after
Go
57
on.
years. Check this. Don't y'all remember they said they split the head open and they couldn't find? I know that we've seen pictures of the pineal gland. They showed us, but Bobby Hemmett and a couple others were speaking and said it's a dark void in the middle of your head,
Yep,
and they
substantial
said
hyper.
and yeah, it's
Yeah.
a dark void. They couldn't find. They can't. Just like they say they can't find the DNA. Everybody's talking about it, but they never seen it before. Check this out. And what I'm saying to you is that, and the spaceship that Elijah Muhammad was speaking on at one point, you know, being symbology, symbolic or whatever, and that mothership was supposed to be sitting in that void, meaning it's the light. But nevertheless, it's when you say it's calcified, then you got to contemplate on. Wait a minute, then if it's a void, and the darkness holds the light, which is the penile. So if hold on, because ain't neither one of us split one open. We reading from books and we listen to people that saying, wait a minute, it's dark in the middle of what's the name. They looked for it and they couldn't find it. So but they telling everybody and showing us some with something that looks like a apricot kernel or something, or what's almond with white stuff on it and red stuff, saying that it's calcified and stuff like that, but it's void. It's almost important that we even keep in mind how we're made. You know, having no mitochondria in our cells. No, and we're gonna have a bag up. We're gonna have a fall. We're gonna have a build a master gland that can be corrupted, that can be monked up, by any means necessary. I don't think so. I just came to the thought of, wait a minute, that void sounds very, very popular right now, because we don't have, and if they have a void and we have something in that void, in that darkness, that light comes from that darkness, and the
They,
darkness
they,
comes in the night, and they
yeah,
just don't have, they just have a void.
they can't have
They just have a
neuromelanin.
void.
Okay, they can't have neuromelanin. They can't have the void or whatever. They can't have that. Neuromelanin allows you to travel through different dimensions and let you see different angles of light and lets you experience different realms. These people can only have one life, and they're not supposed to be here. They were only placed here to separate us and divide and lower our consciousness. That's it.
Right.
That's all their
Yeah.
job is. And they have done a successful job. Now their timer is out. They're
Right.
done. The sun is removing them out of the planet. And the sun is supposed to connect with your pineal gland so you can actually have a higher sensory perception so you can feel these different dimensions. So if the sun is harming you and the sun is removing the nucleus out of your cell, if you even have a nucleus in your cell and the sun
No.
is removing that, you are not going to be able to properly communicate within the cell for mRNA and histones and different processes inside the
We
body.
don't.
And
We
now your
don't.
body is going to shut down. Your
We
body is
don't
going
have
to
a nucleus.
disintegrate. That's what's
We don't
happening
have.
with these people.
We don't have a nucleus. They have a nucleus.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's what I just said.
So,
All right.
can I
So
ask you one question? Hello.
Go ahead, scribe, and we'll circle back to truth.
So, mm, you said travel through different dimension, but according to what I understand, dimension are just the direction in space, and we can see different direction. Like we can see three direction in our daily day-to-day life. But if you want to go look for fourth dimension or fifth dimension, we have to go to microscopic level, like quantum level, like subatomic level, down to the quarks, like, and then we will have be able to like
Exactly.
imagine the fourth dimension or another dimension, because they are too small to be seen with in the large scale. Like we cannot
Exactly.
see
So
one dimension when we are in three dimension. Like one dimension also contain three dimension and two dimension, but we cannot see it, but and can see it because it is the size of that dimension. But if you are too big, the dimension just blurs out and we cannot see it. So if when you say travel through different dimension, then how will you travel through different dimension? Because the dimension like
Your
how.
brain can't fathom what my brain can do. That's why you can't understand what I'm talking about. Dimensions, when you say different angles of space, which is different angles of light. You see what I'm saying? The reason why an ant can see something that I can't see right now is because they're viewing it at a different angle of light. Like I was telling earlier, the brother earlier, this is a light photonic universe. You see, it's built off light particles. So when you see different things and you see more of the light spectrum or the less of the light spectrum, you're just viewing different angles of light. You see what I'm saying? And that's what my brothers and sisters are on this planet. We're different angles of light. That's what we are. Y'all are not that. So when we're talking about
Can I ask one
when
question?
we're talking about quirks, well, two up quirks and one down quirk make up a proton, which is a masculine energy. And how those quirks are made, how those quirks are put together is through nuclear magnetic force of the electron, which is the black woman. So she used these quirks to make the black man, which is the first building block of matter, and then he identifies all the elements and enforces her universal law by creating physical matter for her. So we, through our pineal gland, can create all elements through stellar nucleosynthesis. You see what I'm saying? We create that through alkaloids that is produced by our pineal gland that is concentrated when like the mother of life earlier was talking about how we split electrons, the hydrogen and oxygen ions. We split that and it releases immense amounts of energy, which or creative energy or chaos energy that is now going to get placed in order by the protons. So this is how our DNA works. That's not how your DNA works. Your DNA is getting deleted by the sun as we speak. 2.2 million of your people are unaliving as we speak due to photocarcinogenesis. It's happening. So what's happening with my people and how we're elevating in our consciousness and our ascension has nothing to do with you. The only thing that you need to worry about is if I'm the same species as you, but you have not said anything to us to prove to us that we are the same species. You brought up an evolution theory. We told you that prokaryotic cells never change into eukaryotic cells. Autotroph organisms never change into heterotroph organisms. So the problem that you need to be focused on is how did a pig, chimpanzee, fruit fly, dog, how do all of these organisms that are not found in nature naturally reproduce with each other to make your species?
Yeah, that's the golden question.
That's it. That's all y'all need to worry about. Don't worry about how our people are elevating through consciousness of light because y'all are not light.
How are you trying to respond? What are you saying?
Okay, can I ask one question so that I
Yeah.
can better understand the question, your question? Like, so you said how, like, if we are the same species. So for me to answer that question, can you describe your species to me so I can compare our two species properly?
Prokaryotes.
Yeah, we're prokaryotes.
Okay.
You should not need to go Google prokaryotes in this discussion when we
Come on,
just
man.
had the definition on the screen.
You was just talking about
You
quirks.
was just talking about evolution. You was talking about quarks.
But you can't talk
How
about.
can you talk about the quantum and not talk to me about the cells?
Come on, man.
You know that physics and biology are different part of the
You know that
science, right?
cells
Okay.
are the quantum.
Okay, do cells move off of physics? Are cells made up of physics? Are cells made up of quantum physical particles?
Let me tell you one thing. Physics and biology are different part of the science.
Let me tell you.
I am a
You
physics
see?
student. I don't know
Tells
much
you.
of biology. I know.
Let me tell you something. But look, but the problem is this is what whenever y'all come up here, y'all trying to separate the different organizations of life. You try to separate tissues from how tissues turn into organs. How cells turn into tissues, or how cells are made up of atoms and how and molecules. You try to keep separating those things because those different parts of your body are made from different separate organisms to make up those organizations of life in your body. But for us, all of that is connected. This is why we don't have a nucleus, because all of our neuromelanin programs are what's it called, cells and our tissues already how to be the organism and how to function as the organism under the sun.
Is your species from Krypton? Like, how you describe your species? Like, I imagine Superman. Like, you are describing a species as Superman's. Like,
But hold on though. What do they call Superman though? Let's lock in. What do they call do they not call him the Kal-El?
Yeah.
And what is that
let's not go to that.
mean? No.
I was
What
just
does
using metaphor.
Kal-El mean? What does Kal-El
I was
mean?
Yeah, what
just
is the
I
etymology
was
of
just using
Kal-El?
metaphor. Let's not go to that. I was just asking what your species actually
No,
is.
you was trying to be
No,
Just
funny, and then
asking.
we put the truth on that ass. What is the etymology of Kal-El then?
I don't even know what Calo is.
because yeah, exactly. Your superheroes are depicting what we done before we fell in frequency, and that's for sure. Go ahead, Lindy, and then we'll get to truth and then back to
Uh,
scribe.
okay,
For
okay.
go facts, Lucky.
Facts. The mighty one, the
Okay.
man of the sun, the sun people.
So, are we the same species? Hell no. Hell the fuck no, we not. Hell the fuck no, we not. We not the same. We is not the same. We is different. We do not eat the same. We do not drink the same. We do not move the same. Nothing is no. What
And
what what
man, oh,
what do they learn us in school? We're all the same. Hell the fucking we not.
mm.
That's what I gotta say.
So,
May I
what
ask you?
exactly
Oh,
are you?
hold on, scribe. May I ask, Lind, who are you talking about in this? Like when you're saying we're not the same, who do you envision in your head is not the same when you hear
Um,
that question?
um, that's
Hmm?
um. I want to say white people, but it's not all white people. It's some white people. I believe I believe aliens took over this planet a long time ago. Invaded this planet a long time ago. That's my theory. They invaded the planet, and all they do right now is kill, steal, destroy.
Ooh.
That's what they're doing right now.
You gotta use TikTok friendly words. I
Oh,
understand your
sorry,
frequency. No, you good. No problem.
They unalive, steal, and destroy. And
Hmm.
that's what we see today. That's what we see in Sudan. That's what we see. It's the whole the north of Africa. Y'all see what's going on. The whole North Africa was black. It was black. It was only black people. Tunisia, Morocco, Sudan, Eritrea. You know, it was all black. But now these people have these aliens. I call them aliens because ain't no fucking way we're the same. I feel like these aliens took over, invaded our planet a long time ago. That's my theory.
They I understand your frequency, sister. Thank you for sharing that. I heard you say white people, but white people are actually not the only ones oppressing us, but I do understand the train of thought. We got the Arabs, the Asians, they all share incomplete dominant genetics with each other.
Even some
When it
black
comes
people
to
too.
Hold on, one at a time. We do one at a
what do
time
you
here.
mean by even some black people? What do you mean by that?
There's some evil ass black people that are working with these people.
These people who doing what? What do you mean?
Gatekeepers,
Let her.
keeping you
But
from doing
we're
what you're
talking to
supposed
the
to do.
sister right now.
Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lindy. I'm asking her because we haven't heard her speak. We're trying to everybody in the comments trying to get a gist of how she, thinks.
Use live.
So
Yes.
we'll get back to you in just a second, Truth. Thank you for your patience. Who do you think, uh, Lindy? Somebody is saying Africans in the chat.
He's saying Africans. What Africans?
Because
All right.
I feel like all the countries have secret societies that are working together.
Yeah, that's not what this topic was about. I said, do you think we are all the same species?
Hell
And
the
I
fuck
asked
no.
you, who is it that you envision when I ask you this question, or when you read this question, and then you started to talk about how it's white people, but it's not all white people. And then when she started speaking, y'all were cutting her off. So I just want to make it clear that everybody outside of so-called black people, no matter where we are on the planet, is different than us genetically and biologically. That's what it is. So if that's what you were saying, that these people are not the same as us, then okay. But you were saying some black people were are doing malevolent intents to our people. But you have to see that our people right now are poisoned. Where, so yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So you can go ahead.
Okay,
Go.
you
Go. Yeah.
let's let that shiny talk.
Yeah. Go ahead, that shiny.
Okay.
Africans are colonizers, and that's a fact. Period. Point blank. They're
When
part
you
of.
say African, who are you talking about? Considering that
Talking
Elon
about.
Musk is
I'm
African
talking
and Arab.
about. I'm talking about the whole thing. I mean, y'all ain't talking about what I'm talking about. Y'all talking about the same species, and I agree. No, same thing is not the same species as us. No, no, and the African part is not a part of the Americans. Is not a part of us. So I mean, I don't even know if y'all are a part of us. I'm just saying. I just know that we ain't the same species when it comes to the melanated, the indigenous people, and the dead cave people.
When you say melanated, and I'm asking you to be specific because this conversation is about speciation. It's not about titles and shit like that. We don't know who you're talking about when you say African, considering there are people that share the same base phenotype as us on that continent. And then you have Arabs and you have white people that also are under the title of African or Nigerian or South African or whatever. And then you're
And
saying
Rob,
that it's
the
American. Hold on. I'm just responding to what you're saying and then I'll let you go. When you're talking about the Americans and the da da da's and the da da da, those are titles that I don't know who you're talking about.
Yep.
So explain to me the difference in embryology between a so-called African and a so-called American that you're talking about. What are the genetic differences?
we don't have the same phenotypes as the Africans that came from the Africans. We don't have the phenotype. The phenotype that you're probably referring to comes from the West Africans, the Liberians. They come from America. So that's it.
You're telling me land masses, and I'm asking you for genetic differences. Are you able
Embryology.
to give me the genetic, biological, and anatomical differences between the so-called Americans and the Africans? You're on mute.
We ain't the same.
You just saying we ain't the same, but you haven't explained it to us. So I hope you're not telling children that they not the same and can't explain it, because that would be a lie.
I'm definitely telling children we ain't the same.
And so you're lying to the next generation, keeping them in a system that's oppressing them because you can't articulate this on your own. That's a damn shame as a grown man. You should be able to tell me the genetic and the biological differences if you believe that we're not the same. Saying that we're not the same is not telling me how we're not. So I have a problem with that. You know what I'm
And
saying?
saying our phenotypes is different when our base phenotype is clearly the same
Is dumb. I'm gonna come clean.
And then you try to say West
Not
Africa.
that you are dumb, but it's a very
Ideology that you adopted is. And the thing is, it's like you talking about West Africa, different part. Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the neuromelanated people around the planet, or neuromelanated people around the continent of Africa? Because if you're talking about
He
all
left,
of them,
so it don't even matter.
yeah. Because if
See,
you're talking about all of them, then you're talking about us.
y'all love
That's why
leaving.
you just said. That's why you just came out your mouth. Oh, the people in West Africa, they have the same phenotype. They look like us. That our phenotype is in all of Africa. Our phenotype is in all of Australia. Do you know how many so-called black people are in Brazil right now with our phenotype? We are everywhere, but you want to keep claiming this America, 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 when that name doesn't come from us. It comes from a
Man.
monkey man.
They
Animal
named our
DNA, mixed
they
animal man.
facts. You let them, first of all, you let them name parts of your mother's womb. Y'all talking about African, West African. You cannot be a percentage of a fucking landmass, y'all.
Doesn't make sense.
From the bottom of my heart, I want y'all to understand that shit. Before, like sooner than later, y'all. You cannot be a percentage of a landmass considering that this is all the same land. The only thing that's separating the land, y'all, is water. And the water shares the same biogenetic signature as the land. So essentially, there's nothing separating the two. Water is what joins it. So you're lying to children. You're keeping us here. You pushing patriarchy, white man narrative. We're not doing that.
Pushing down trauma.
Stop telling people that they one thing and you can't explain it. We ain't the same. We ain't the same. We ain't the same. The Liberian's not the African. We don't know who the fuck y'all be talking about.
You have been infiltrated.
That shit is sad. I'ma come clean. It's sad as fuck that grown men and women cannot articulate it. Instead of just saying, you know what? I don't know. You know what? I gotta go study that. I gotta see what y'all talking about. Because maybe the information may help your argument. You never know. But y'all rather lie than say that you don't know. Oh, I'm definitely telling children, but can't explain it. So that's why y'all like telling children shit, because you know that they're not gonna argue with you because you know that you're responsible for guiding them.
Yep,
they're not gonna challenge your ideology because you're the so-called adult and they're the so-called child. So how disingenuous, how fucking nasty that shit is to sit there and say we're not the same and can't explain it. But guess what? When this system shut down and it ain't no more titles and it ain't no more none of that shit that you've been programmed to believe in, I guarantee you're going to stick with the next brother or sister because you ain't going to have no choice.
Yeah, I wonder how you're going to know who's who when there's no job system, political system. None of these titles are going to exist. How are you going to know who's who unless you know by their genetics?
Man. By
their phenotype, their genetic expression that they're expressing under the sun. How are you going to know?
Exactly.
So all of that is going out the window. You see what I'm saying? Genetics debunks everything that y'all talking about. Everything.
Facts. If you pay attention, just take 30 minutes out of the day. Maybe not even that long. Go down the TikTok lives and tell me if people are not having an indirect discussion about DNA and genetics. They just don't understand DNA and genetics. They say West African. We was just on a live earlier. He said 80% of black Africans are not, or 80% of black Americans are not African. What the hell are you talking about? What the hell is that? Not African, not a landmass.
And we said
black Americans are not or 80% of black Americans are not a landmass.
We asked them, what is the composition of that American DNA and the African DNA that differentiate them? Like, what is the composition of that? I'm a historian. I'm not a scientist. So your job is to study their history of how they gave us diseases. That's your job. That's what you came on this planet to do. Study how the snake eats the rabbit.
Can I ask you one question?
Like, what the? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott.
Why are you laughing?
No, go ahead, man.
So, like, you said that 80% of black American are not African, right?
No, we didn't say that.
We were quoting with someone else's ignorance.
We were addressing our people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
That's the problem.
Stay out of it.
You need to worry about. Remember how I told you? How did the pig? How did the chimpanzee? How did the dog? How did all of that come together to make you? That's what you should be focused on.
We still waiting on the answer from that, and you up here asking us questions. We waiting on your answer.
We're waiting on the answer on how that came to be, and you worried about how black people are addressing each other. Don't worry about none of that shit.
No.
You won't. You won't be here on the planet to even know what's gonna take place with us.
Can I ask him a question? What's your so-called race or ethnic background? Are you Arab?
I'm Asian.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, and I'm not trying to be funny, but 14 million men in Japan just got sterilized. And I know that y'all have been no longer reproducing for the past few years, at least 5 years, 5 to 10 years, y'all have been struggling with reproducing. And I'm not trying to
No, no,
pick a
no.
bone. What
I'm
I'm
not from
expressing
Japan.
is that, excuse me?
I'm not from Japan.
No, no,
I'm
no, no,
from
no.
No,
Nepal.
the Middle Eastern
I,
Asia, they're
I'm
all
talking about
experiencing.
Asia because you
Yeah,
said that you were Asian. So I'm
Yeah.
actually getting ready to go down the list of all
Mm,
Russia, Europe,
yeah.
all over the globe. The Asian man, the so-called Dravidian man, and the so-called Caucasian man, they are now starting to talk about how they're having issues with reproducing, and that's why Trump is trying to initiate an incentive for people to procreate because birth rates are declining here. So 2 years ago, when we started going live about this, and we were telling people that it was coming to America, and they didn't believe us. Now that things have transpired and things have become more
Like, yeah, more.
so-called chaotic on
Hmm.
the planet, it's
Hmm.
smacking the American too. So we're watching the fall happen in real time. The dollar barely has any value. Venezuela is out of money. They president over here. That's what I heard. You see what I'm saying?
mm,
This is a global corporation that's shutting down, and the moment it shuts down, your creator will be introduced. And at that time, that's when shit will get real. It's not real yet. That's
Yep.
why our people think this shit is still a game. They think they finna get reparations. They
Hmm.
asking for reparations at a time when the dollar has no fucking value, and it never did
Losing value daily, and it
daily.
never did. Facts.
Yeah. So we will have to deal with our community because all we did was just forget who we are. Y'all were never supposed to be here. It was never supposed to get to this point. This was
Hmm.
supposed to be a universal test or test between unity,
Hmm.
and you and the entity that created y'all had a field day
Yep.
with the so-called
Over
BOK woman's energy and
overstepped his boundary.
being able to alchemize that energy for the worst. So I hope you're you're preparing and you're talking to your communities because we don't have anything to fear or to worry about, especially when it comes to Earth's resonance and how it's going up every day, which is unlocking what they call dormant deoxyetheric acid. The etheric acid is the neuromelanin. It's the biochemical substance, right? Let's check the comments. Somebody said,
Hmm.
wow, AI just put something in the chat saying genetics and African identity discussion. Comment your thoughts. Why the hell
Hmm.
is
And every time we've been changing the prompt, they've been saying something new, like,
new?
"Oh,
Yeah,
genetics, debunking
so
genetics and species." That's
yeah.
what they said.
There's still a restriction on the live, and they said it was only going to be for 10 minutes, but it's been there for an hour.
Yeah.
Somebody said claim your fake U.S. estate quickly. For what? That man is not in the U.S. for sure. For sure. Sucks to be mortals. That's a fire ass fucking comment.
are you not immortal?
No, we're
I am
immortal.
not a mortal.
We're immortal beings because our woman hold immortal totipotent stem cells that she passes down
What
that
is
makes
the
that
topic?
make hold on for a second, that make up our spine and our brain. And that our spine and our brain is what makes up the body. So we are immortal beings. You're not you're immortal. You're this is the only life
So
you will ever live.
let me ask you one thing. What separates a mortal from immortal?
Cells.
Yep.
Immortal
How?
replicating cells, daughter cells, totipotent stem cells. When you get into cell potency, you know that there's totipotent, which is the highest potency to be able to replicate itself. Then you get into
Yeah.
multipotency and pluripotency. So you saying yeah? Have you heard of that before? You
Yeah,
know
I
that?
heard some
Yeah.
animals have the ability to multiply themselves indefinitely, like they don't have limits. Humans
She
have
talking about
limits,
Ash
I know.
Krishna.
Hmm.
She talking about Ash
Like,
Krishna. That's funny as fuck. Uh, Yeah, some animals, but we don't have animal DNA, and it's not just animals, prokaryotes in general. So you got to
Yep.
understand prokaryotes when they're talking about that, they're talking about the functionality of how the organism's cells work, how they
Hmm.
function. It doesn't mean that you're a big glob of bacteria. We're
Hmm.
made of bacteria. That's why it's important to talk about prokaryotes and
Yep.
versus eukaryotes. Cyanobacteria is very key to lock in with. If you're listening to this, if you're on YouTube, if wherever you are, please study cyanobacteria. I know some of y'all have the Divine Carbon, where it breaks it down in layman's terms, even in that book, 40-page book. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the difference. We don't function the same because we're not made of the same cells. Our cells are not or tell the organism how to function, and our genetic information is not telling ourselves to unalive the nature, to drill, to splice. That's not within our genetics to do.
We generate our own energy. You need other organisms to generate your
So
energy for your cell.
you don't
For energy for our cell, we generate it on our own.
so you don't eat.
We don't eat,
We don't eat. We're not supposed to be.
and we don't need to.
Yeah, we actually create our own sugar through water photolysis, which is the splitting of electrons in water. You see what I'm saying? Inside of our bodies, because our bodies are 80% water and our brain sits in 70% water. So we can consist
Splitting
and we
of
can
electron to
hold on
water.
for a second. We can consistently keep making our own glucose from the water in our bodies. As soon as the sun hits the water, you see what I'm saying? We can actually split the electron, and then the hydrogen and oxygen that split, you see what I'm saying? It releases immense amount of energy, which dispersed throughout the entire anatomy, which is called ultra fast internal conversion, which then feeds every cell evenly of light.
Yep. And we also biosynthesize the sun through our integumentary system, so we also don't need to eat. The only reason why we're eating now is because we shrunk in density and in frequency. We became more dense, so we have to eat dense fruits. You know what I'm saying? We're still, like the person said in the chat, we're not, meat is non-conducive to our anatomy, but you need it. You see what I'm saying? We don't,
So
though.
And we absorb
can I
carbon,
say something?
oxygen, and hydrogen in our environment to feed our cells. That's how we do water
Can I
photosynthesis.
ask you something?
Go ahead, since
Can I
we're done
ask you something?
talking.
You said like you I don't know. I was about to laugh, but I won't laugh.
Go ahead, laugh.
Like you just said something. It was beyond beyond physics. Like you said, like you've split o- water into oxygen and hydrogen and gain energy from it, but that is not possible. That is not physically possible. That goes against physics, chemistry, and
That's
because
happening
So,
within my body, is what I'm telling you, through the cyanobacteria.
because
That's happening with
let
the
me tell you something.
prokaryotic cells. If you see the
Let
function
me
of prokaryotic cells, they actually help condense DNA, and our DNA is
no
neuromelanin. They help condense that. Your eukaryotic cells, they wrap around proteins like histones to create DNA. They wrap around something else to try to replicate their DNA. You see what I'm saying? And they already have over 25 to 30,000 genes of different organisms to replicate it. So we
yeah.
actually do feed ourselves. You see what I'm saying? We extract the solar energy from the sun and we change that through water photolysis, is what I was telling you, which is the splitting of an electron and uh, the electron particles within the water. So it's letting off, once that electron splits out of the atom, the hydrogen and oxygen split because they're not bonded by the electrons, because the electrons makes bonds in atoms. So now that they're not bonded together, once they release big amounts of energy throughout the entire body, electromagnetic energy throughout the entire body, so the body can keep running and be stimulated. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Your body doesn't do
Yeah,
that.
because you have electricity, but you lack electromagnetism because your origin is electroporation. So that spark of light that y'all have is unnatural light. It's not UVC radiation. It's not the full spectrum. We have a new guest. Go ahead, XI.
can I ask something?
1 second, Scribe. You asked. Hold on. Go
Yeah.
ahead, XI, and then we'll get to Aya. Then we'll go back to Scribe.
Hey, I'm just listening in, but I definitely came up when I heard him say, "You guys can't do that." Like, that's not possible. I just wanted to remind him, just because you can't do something, your body lacks the ability, doesn't mean that ours do. Like, that's what we were telling you, we're not the same. So I'm just here to listen and make sure that this thing below me doesn't say anything weird. I don't call people colors, so I don't know. But he doesn't say anything weird to you all, and just keep spreading the knowledge because we need to know and hear this. Our brothers and sisters need to
Abundance.
hear. And I thank you all for hosting this live.
Abundance,
Gratitude, my
mother.
sister.
Hmm.
Gratitude for coming in and sharing your frequency. Go ahead, mother, and then we'll get back to scribe.
Yeah, I'm listening and I'm really saying, you see, the question, are we the same species? No. The evidence is in the lifestyle and the facts of what we can do and what the other ethnics can do. It's sad that we sat in the same classroom, but they were not speaking to us. When Darwin theory was expressed, that is not us, because every cell in our physical being, in our macrocosmical beings, right, is protected by melanin and it cannot be spliced.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, now, like I was, thinking about it, I says, well, if that couldn't happen, then the only one that they could have taken the mitochondria out to say, but they had our ancestors, Henrietta Finch, the lady that they took, they said they could remake her because they got all her DNA, skin, whatever. They say they could remake her. So that is to tell you that if they can remake her, you remember with the big hellacious universal booty, our ancestors that they pretty much robbed of all of her DNA and cells and everything. Well, if they can remake her, right, then we know they got some people walking among us that's kind of like fungus among us, because they were made with splicing. And just like
Wait,
you're
mother, who?
expressing.
Mother, who are you talking about?
The other ethnics, they were spliced. Their melanin, because they're not really highly melanated. There is melanin, because melanin is the fire to life. So everything on the planet has melanin, even the plants, bugs, the doodle bug, and everything, roach, everything has melanin because it is what gives life. However, the other ethnics, as it come down, because like the splicing, it went to all the way till they felt that they got the to them correct color. That's how they expressed it. That they kept on splicing and splicing and splicing till they felt that they got the right color, which is the Caucasian. That's
Mm,
what they wanted us to believe. But now, because they're not a natural source, that is why they're depleting naturally and cannot produce naturally. So now they have to look to who? And the same ones that they kept under their feet is their lifeline.
yeah,
Okay.
that's all facts. Abundance for that, mother. I just wanted to say that they didn't splice Sarah Bartman, and they cannot splice so-called black people around the planet. You see what I'm saying? I
Right.
was just trying to clear that up. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
they
saying.
cannot because of the
You can't
melanin.
splice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the neuromelanin coats the cell, and you can't splice in that because neuromelanin is UV light, and you need UV light to splice cells.
Yeah.
And you cannot splice into our cells and change and take genetic information in and out of that cell. All of our genetic information comes from our mother, and there's no way it accepts anything synthetic because neuromelanin ejects anything out that's synthetic in its environment.
Yeah, we
Right.
can't you can't splice but everything else facts. Scribe. We back to you and then we gonna I think XI wanted to say something. What's the question you had, Scribe? We probably gonna have to make this your last question though.
Yeah,
Like
you
you can
Okay,
said.
ask it for
my
2 hours.
last question. It is very simple question, Lo. So, what are your majors? What did you study in college? That's my question.
Um
14.4 billion years of knowledge is in my brain. So
yeah,
that's
well
that's that's
What's your
that's really
majors?
that's because my knowledge predates your schools.
yeah, we don't
No, no,
need
no. I
college
mean,
and everything
did
that
you
I
go to
studied
school?
in Hold on, if you're gonna ask me a question,
You
hold
asked us, so
on.
let us answer.
So the thing is, when I was in college, I did not study this information. You don't need to. All right, biology, the prokaryotes and eukaryotes that we keep talking to you about is ninth grade science. All right, the books that we have a huge library of books written by people that have PhDs, but that's besides the point. Reading is free. Comprehension is key. That's the problem. Most people don't comprehend properly. They go into research wanting to satisfy their own narrative. We don't do that.
Mm-mm.
We type in the phenomenons themselves. We don't just stay on Google. We switch our search engines. We're on VPNs. We look at scientists across the world. Our scientists across the world. Their scientists across the world. And they're all saying the same thing for the most part. You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to this discussion, there is no scientist on the globe that is saying that we went from haploids to diploids. So you don't need a degree to tell you that. Like, it's just understanding how cells function. Was that the question that you had? What is are you in college or do you?
Yeah, I was listening to you, and everything you said goes against physics. Like,
We are
that's why I
beyond
was
Scribe,
physics.
hold
confused.
on.
Like,
Hold on. Let me use some
because
experience for
like
you.
everything you said was like, I
You
don't know. I was being,
you lack the
I was trying to be
ability.
polite.
You
I
lack
How
was
the
is
trying
what
to
I'm
be
ability.
polite,
saying
but
against phys? How is what
y-
I'm saying against physics when we're talking about how cells split?
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
understand that.
Do
Quarks,
you
One
do
of
you
your
see the difference though, host? Do you see this is what we're talking about? You see how he's unable to, like, he can't
let me tell you
comprehend, like he
something.
can't catch on. We're not the same, Scribe. You're
Let me tell you
proving
something.
it through your interactions with us right now. You have
Let me tell
zero
you something.
inability to reflect. You can't, like, it's crazy. Like you
No,
can't.
no. Can I say
It's you're
something?
not us. You're not like us. We're not the same. This is why I
Can I say
literally
something?
promote
Can I
segregation
say, can
and
I say something?
what?
Can I say something?
go
Can I say
ahead,
Yeah, but you
Sky.
something?
do understand that, right?
Yes, one of your
Okay.
brothers said, one of your brothers said he splits electron. How? That's my question. How does he split electron?
Through magnetic brain waves. I can do it through my own magnetic brain waves. It's called cell
Let
migration.
me,
I do it
electron.
all the time, and my subconscious mind does it. Just like I don't have to tell my body to pump heart to for my heart to start pumping. I don't have to tell my body because all of that is subconsciously already doing it. I already make my own food. You see what I'm saying?
What does
Y'all
electron
Unicellular.
split into? Like,
and
what does electron split into?
prokaryotic cells perform water splitting. They perform photoelectrochemical water splitting. And this and so-called black people have over 100 trillion of prokaryotic cells in their body performing water splitting, performing biosynthesis of solar radiation. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying this is not going according to physics is because we are the creators of physics. We are physics. We are beyond physics. We are what make physics happen. We are the cosmic glue that holds liquids, solids, and gases and other phases of matter intact. So you can't comprehend that, and that's fine. So I really hope that you have a great rest of your journey and you get everything that's deserved to you coming forward.
Well said.
That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, because I'm so baffled as he lacks the ability. Yeah, there he is. He's out of there. Because I was just like, I don't think they understand. Like even in conversing with us, and I hear you all, giving out this great knowledge, and he's just like, no, you can't do that because I can't do it. No, we're all the same. No, we're the same. No, you can't do it because I can't do it. And I'm just like, am I hearing this? Bro, even in their interactions, we're not the same. This is why I promoted like segregation. I want them to bring it back because if you look at things like physics, if something doesn't belong in the environment, the things that do belong there will begin to, turn against each other, it feels like. And I think that's what's going on. Or like we begin to get corrupted when something is new or introduced to our environment. And I think that's what's going on. And he's expecting us all to be like the ones that have been corrupted and we're not.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's just weird. I don't know, because this is like a couple. I don't know if he was the same guy or someone else, but they always do that.
Facts. Gratitude and abundance. Did anybody else want to come up and add anything? It doesn't even have to pertain to speciation. It could be the live that I had last night on my page. It could be any of our lives. I know most of the people in here also keep it with the lives on YouTube. Anybody have any question about anything? Anybody want to talk or share anything? If you are struggling with something when it comes to the alkaline diet or whatever it is, does anybody have anything to share or add? Bliss.
What's your feelings on miscegenation?
On who?
Miscegenation.
I'm sorry, like misogyny?
No, miscegenation is like
I'm not
mixing, and
Oh,
well, they call it interracial, but it's not because some of us can't even procreate with them. But like mixing, this notion going around that all of us, because of our skin color, we're all interested in doing the swirl or going outside of our own kind to procreate. What are your feelings on that?
so again, they're here through introgression, which is done through hybridization. So they're already unnatural and their genetics is incomplete dominant. They're not this 100% of anything. When we procreate with these people on a cellular level, the information can't communicate. So things are invoked like hemolytic disease and zoonotic disease. And most people believe that if they can have a so-called healthy child, that nothing is taking place on a cellular level. But each and every time our people, when we're laying down, when we're having SMEX, it doesn't just take place with procreation as far as like a child being born, but anytime you procreate with these people, have SMEX with them, you are thinning out your blood. They literally are taking out the nutrients in your blood. When it comes to the RhoGAM shot, I know people were talking about that earlier in the chat. That shot was introduced in the 60s to help basically blanket that process, to help push that fetus to term, because the mother will look at that fetus as a foreign species and begin to unalive it. I was just trying to make sure I didn't say the D word, but that's what's taking place. So we should not be mixing with them at all. And when we first came in contact with them, they wiped out several continents alone of us with just seminal fluids. That's the reason why things like grape was legal in this country. You can read books like When Grape Was Legal or American breeding. I can never get the title of. I got to read that book and refresh it. But there are several books that talk about the importance of them mixing and breeding with us to add those antigens into our bloodstream. That's why they started out saying that we weren't human, and they began to the whole 3/5 compromise was a thing, because the more that the antigens got added into our system, the more they began to classify us as so-called humans. We're not the producers of animal proteins and lipids and things of the sort, but because we have mixed with them, and they have incomplete dominant genetics, those foreign substances are now attached to our red blood cells, and that's why it's important to detox. That's why it's important to get these people off of the planet, because even just shaking their hands, coming in contact with their microbiome, it doesn't agree with our biology and anatomy, so it is deteriorating it. Does that answer your question?
Oh, I knew. I wanted them to understand. I wanted you to articulate it in the way that you can, baby, because I couldn't articulate it like that, but I already knew. Thank you. Because I think you need to know this and hear this, because I keep saying this. I'm not with all that. And if you all look around, you're going to see all on the television, every movie, every video, every TikTok, it's all a swirl. Like they're trying to tell everyone to do the swirling so what you just said can continue to happen, or just basically just get rid of us altogether. So I'm wondering, what were your feelings and how were you able to articulate it? Because I can't do it like that. I just know what I know, and I know I ain't supposed to be doing that. So I really
you can do it, my sister.
Yeah,
You just gotta that's why I know it kind of gets repetitive, but that's why I say the words over and over again.
Oh no,
Now
it's
the people that
fine.
have, yeah, now the people that have been listening, when I say introgression, they know what it is.
Yeah,
So I try to give the definitions, but other times I don't because I want to see who's doing the research.
yeah.
The research is very easy. And this is just the basics. There's so much more to introgression, genetic engineering and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Then
Manipulation.
yeah,
What I was saying, like, I don't know, like, when it comes down to, because I definitely, the vocabulary thing is crazy because I'm not able to articulate myself to certain people. So I'm not to say I dumb it down, but I definitely have been trying to like watch how I talk with people because sometimes it just people will shut down because they don't understand where I'm coming from, what I'm talking about, what topic it is, or anything because they're not experiencing this, nor are they looking over here researching it. So I try to like bring it down. So when I said miscegenation, I honestly thought that was a regular word. Like it's in the Bible. Come to find out, nobody even knows what this term is, yet everyone's committing it. It's crazy. I'm just
yeah, I
like,
never heard of that, my sister, but thank you for telling me that because I'm
yeah,
gonna look into it and go
please
down
look
the
up.
rabbit hole.
Yep.
Yeah, because
It's
everything is listed under different words. And I was just talking about earlier in the live, they've slightly changed the definition of hybrid. We have a screenshot of hybrid from 2 years ago, and I just looked at hybrid before we went live last night. They've added more, at least a sentence or two, arguably three, into that definition.
Same with
So
neuromelanin.
yeah,
They changed the way they talk about it. First, they say it's just in your brain. Then they say it's in your skin, hair, and
and
eyes,
eyes
and
and
the other
neurons.
organs.
Yeah, excuse me, and the other organs.
But
Yep.
now, then when you search it up in other engines, it'll say, "Oh, it's just in your brain." You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But it depends because I looked it up on Yandex, which is a Russian site, and you got to go on VPN to see what other countries are saying about melanin.
Yeah, and what they're actually saying about, because it's heavily censored in America. In my opinion, America is the most censored when it comes to information. And we've been watching. We haven't been live on his page in a while, but we're watching AI. Literally, you can't see it on your end because I have my phone and he has his. AI is notifying him that they're taking notes from this conversation.
Yeah.
They've changed TikTok. Like, they literally every time when we were talking about history when Truth was in here earlier, they AI put something in the chat about that, saying that it was recording the conversation for that. When we started talking about the water photolosis, it started talking
Yeah.
about, okay, the chat is about
Yeah, yeah.
we're taking it.
They literally
So
said this AI summary is the breaking down of water photolosis.
yeah,
And when I was talking about genetics, they're like debunking genetics
genetics.
and speciation.
Yeah.
So they literally recording what I'm saying, what I'm doing, because they're listening. Like
yeah.
how can you comprehend and translate that that's what I'm doing
In
You see
real
what I'm saying?
time.
In real
Y'all
time.
On a
gotta
live.
y'all
Yeah.
gotta go back and look, and if you don't remember, like, because I know we have it in ourselves, but you gotta remember, 100 years from now, this, I mean, 100 years ago, this type of platform would have been like a huge no-no because they were back then trying to find out everything about us, peeping, listen, decoding, and trying to understand this and start watching and creeping. They were doing all of this stuff back then. So right now, we kind of just give it to them, like, because I don't know, like, I don't care at this point. I really don't care. I want as many of us to know, but now it's like they don't care because it's like we just give it to them. Like, we're on these platforms. We don't have anything that's like centralized for us to go to without all these people trying to chime in and tell us we're not who we are and this is that and believe us. That, like, we needed some kind of central place for just us because that's absolutely scary. That's terrifying, actually, because you all were giving out so much information on us. And
Yeah,
here AI is.
they're saying that someone was live about this yesterday. It popped up on the FYP saying that if you have drafts, that AI is now using that information, or TikTok is using that information to train their AI.
Yes.
So
Yep.
that's just because we took like 4.5 months off from TikTok. And when we came back, they started, I'm telling you, the way they ask for identity is crazy. Like, I really just want to go in there and just get my stuff. But they're like, oh, you got to prove your identity first. I'm like, bro, in order for me to go live, I already had to upload my ID and then do a whole
Oh, they
verification
trying to dox you.
6 months
Yeah.
ago.
They
Yeah.
trying to dox you.
And now on my page, my most popular video on my page is like almost 300K views or whatever. It says ineligible for recommendation. It's been saying that for months, but I have like 6 different videos on my page that they do not recommend to the FYP, and it still get likes every day. So I know that like even though AI is trying to do their own thing, they have their own agenda, the message is still getting out. They be trying to shadow ban our views. We went from having like 90 to 100 views per live to now only 14 to 20, at the most 30. So we just, because the views, the analytics, like let me check them right now.
Yep.
Yeah, five almost, that don't match the views at all. And how the algorithm is on the FYP is the same thing for here, and they've added more features like the repost function. So that's how I know y'all are suppressing our message. Fuck y'all. No, I'm just
No, real style, real spill. But no,
elevating our
seriously,
consciousness, they've been watching us more and more.
I'm sure.
Like, just restricting our lives more and more. Like you can tell, like how she said, we used to have more views, but as our knowledge was starting to get more sharp and stuff like that, and we started to break down stuff way better, that's when they started to go crazy with the restrictions, started taking us off live. So we took 4 months and we were like, okay, we'll come back and see if the consciousness is. And now our people are on live talking about the most low vibrational thing.
There it is again. See?
Yeah.
Genetic risk of mixing with others. Share your thought. Like, why would
What?
you be
Yeah, that's the
AI
new.
just dropped that.
every like,
Wow.
and now they do restrictions where they say, oh, we're only going to restrict your live for 10 minutes. His restriction has been on here. Live visibility restricted for 10 minutes. Issued at 11:28. It's 2:09.
It's the craziest
Why is the live
thing.
still restricted?
And you know what? These people be on these
Oh,
lives
10
talking
minutes.
about harming federal
PKI
agents.
10 minutes.
They be on these lives talking about harming federal agents, going against immigration. They be talking about harming the president. They talk about all kind of stuff, and they don't restrict their lives. They don't take their videos down. There were people talking about ramming federal agents on videos that were going viral, millions of views. They don't take that stuff down. They have people placing like weird money in weird places and then posting where it's at so children can find these things. I report those videos. They don't take those down. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Those scavenger hunts. Those are trafficking. Those are like methods to traffic. If a child sees that and goes over to those videos to where those things are, they can snatch any kid. This is a kid app, number one. And they have those videos running all the time, and I report them. Nothing ever happens. But then you come on here and speak about some real stuff, and they flagging you left and right. But they got a whole.
My bad. Go ahead.
No,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they say no violations found. Somebody literally was live yesterday or the day before. They said Trump is something like raping underage girls.
Yeah,
I said,
right.
how are they letting him have a title like that? About doing that to he said underage girls.
Just a lie, and then about the president, and they have it going. And I'm not even into all that stuff like that, but just hear what they used to tell us. Oh, you don't do this with the president, you don't disrespect federal agent. Now we're looking around. Everywhere you look, they disrespecting federal agents, talking shit about the president, trying to take him out of here. And then they'll come to your live and try and ban you all when you're speaking real
They want that. They want our people to be violent at this time moment. They want our people to be filled with fear and be violent with each other and embarrass each other at the end of this system. They want us to be the most violent right now. When that's why in TV they try to depict us as we're hateful, we're the violent. The whole time they created political systems just to fund WARs, just to put $99 billion into trafficking children and our women and men. So
that's how they keep their system going. Because remember, we're not the same, and that's how their species. Remember, from out the caves to onto the land, right? They're the same. Has nothing changed, right?
Yeah, segregation. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Bring segregation
the sun is separating us. There's nothing, because they're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
They need us.
To be facts, and to be honest, there are more and more YT neighborhoods all over the globe. They're saying if you come over here, we gonna unalive you.
Yeah.
So they already are. It's already starting. We already starting to see their genetics starting to amp up and become more violent. And then we're seeing our people thinking that they're the same as them, being violent for a whole nother reason. Like, It's just
Yep,
to
that. Ooh, that's what you hit that on the head. You hit that. Wow.
yeah. It's
Wow.
it's they're wanting certain groups want to separate from us, but they know that doing that and talking about that is still harnessing our energy when we hear it. They're very particular about how they do things because we're very particular people. Our DNA is compact and efficient. We have strict diet. Our DNA is giving strict information, strict orders. So they have to be,
Self-generating.
yeah. So they have to be very strategic about the things that they do to us. But y'all cooking in here in abundance. Aya, I'm so happy to see you in here because I literally have been, I'm like, where's Aya? I asked him that the other day, and I seen you in Evolve in my yachts live.
Yeah, that's
But
where I be at her house.
yeah, and when I seen you in there, I followed you, but I think your settings or something like that, and I don't
No,
know
it's
what be wrong with my
TikTok.
phone.
It's TikTok, baby
It's
girl.
TikTok.
It's
Yeah, it
it
is.
took y'all 4 months. It took me 1 year. I'm like, this is mental. So guess what? So when because remember, we are who make anything and everything famous. If we just stop looking their way with their designs and their clothes and their department stores and their grocery stores and all of that, guess what? They will fall. Their entertainers and everything, they will fall. Their empire is falling, and that's why they're doing all this disastrous geoengineering crap. Yeah, but I wanted to share this for us to keep in memory. They have been studying us every 3 years. Why 3 years? Because that's when the sun rays change. When the sun rays change, because on our skin we have liptosin, right? It's a like another hormone. So when when they were giving us this allegorical story in the Bible, when it says about the bridegroom, the groom meets the bride. Well, the groom is the sun, and we are the bride. Yeah. So when the groom meet the bride, when the sun touches our skin, then it's like a marriage. We start produce melanin, start producing from the largest organs, our skin, plus the pineal gland. You know how the baby, when the baby born and he got that mole up there, that little soft spot? Right there, baby. That's where we getting it. And through our eyes, through our skin, through our foot, our feet, through, you know what I'm saying? That's how we get it and we produce it. So that's why they're blocking. Why there are a whole lot of chemicals, because they studied us. NASA is Nazi, and they studied us every 3 years. Every 3 years, the sun rays change, and so do we. That is why they study us every 3 years. And the military does that. Everything that's going against us, it's military invasion, people. Yeah. So, and you know where that comes from, POPE, right? So, so, and why I brought that up is because, when you were saying we giving it, no, baby, they know we're getting our downloads. They know these things already. That's why they know they're done. When we got it, they're done. They're through. Remember, they are supposed to be so ashamed of the evil that they have brought upon this globe. It ain't just us in a way y'all will call Americas. Remember, North, South, and Central is the Americas, right? So it's global. But they know once, remember, they told us, don't look to the sun. Don't look to the stars. Don't look to who we are. We are macrocosmic. Us knowing our melanated composition is just the beginning. So when we go deeper, we're in the macrocosmics. We're not even bothered about this terrestrial because we're extraterrestrial. And they know this. So that's why they targeted us to dumb us down. Chemicals. They spend billions trying to keep us dumbed down. Why? Because of all of this knowledge. They know it. So we're not telling them nothing. They're knowing we know now. That's it. So when people are talking, they're sitting there laughing. And people talk about, oh, Jesus and Christ. They laughing at y'all. And y'all talking about Muhammad and Islam. They is cracking up. You see, because none of that exists. No David, no Solomon, no Jesus, no none of that. Okay? What they have is our ancienticity of our beings. And they've been working with all of what they've been working on for so very, very long. Well, the Pope's been doing it from the 1300s. So we're not giving them nothing. They're realizing they know the time that we're in. That's why you're hearing about so many destruction. Don't think it's natural. It's them with their harps and their cerns and their wind machines and their magnets and their whatever. You know what I mean? So we're not giving them nothing. They know now that we know. That's it.
No, you know what? You're right. No, you're actually right. I think it's a little bit of both because there's still a lot that they don't know, and they've never seen or witnessed like our DNA so-called unlock. You know what I'm saying? Like they reduced us in our thinking, but they still didn't understand what we were truly capable of. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they still pay attention to the planet. They still pay attention to us. Now, I know that it is a fact that they study melanin every 3 years, but I think now they might be studying melanin at a lot quicker.
Like every day, right?
Every day, it's got to be every day because I mean, scientists are doing what they're doing every day, and there's no sleep with that. And so,
And this entity that psychologically did this to our species has seen us in our most highest state and has seen us in our most lowest state and has been studying and collecting data while his creation was enslaving us and raping us and filling us with diseases. He was sitting back watching how this is affecting our DNA so he can implement this system that we have today. You see what I'm saying? It's steps, and it's a 200,000 to 400,000 year step. So, and like she said, they're spending trillions every day just so you don't know yourself. Trillions. Hope
Can I
you
give
just
you all
you
an
know,
example? Can I give you all one example of how they're studying this? And it'll go right over your head because I don't think you all are experiencing this. What they call them spectral auctions or spectrum judges. And every time people walk into these local courtrooms, whatever, and they're melanated, yeah, that's an experiment. They're not going to tell you all that, but they're checking. I think it's called an EMC, electromagnetic capacity. It's deep. Really got to look into that. That's like one of the very places that they are definitely experimenting on us is through the so-called purported judicial system, which is not even judicial in nature anymore since they've monetized it. It is all voluntary now. So now you're voluntarily walking in there to be experimented on and have them check your electromagnetic capacity and how you're able to perceive things. So I don't do it, and they've been targeting me because I refuse to go in there and play that game with them because they don't have the faculty nor the agency to provide for my EMC, so I'm not going to that event. And they've been targeting me and others that have foreign intelligence is what they're calling it. And that's just definitely one of the ways that they're doing it. It's through those spectral auctions or spectral meetings that they're calling court cases.
they have, yeah, the black body radiators and the orgone energy accumulators, and they have those in these smart cities too. So those posts that are typically next to the lightning posts with the solar panels on them, kind of like this, like the size of like a tall man. Excuse me. Those are measuring people that are outside walking. It's scanning the environment, the atmosphere, and
Heat
it's checking to
signatures.
see
Heat
who.
signatures. Yep.
Yeah, it's checking to see our ascension.
Yep.
And so yeah, they're doing it in more blatant ways. Even those purple lights that they want to put on traffic stops, the what is it called, street lights, stuff like that. That they're now purple. So that's another thing.
The equipment that they use for the imaging, it's looking for certain presence in your image, and it's looking. I saw mine, and they saw what was in mine. It would terrify you. Well, it probably wouldn't terrify you all in here, but they saw it, and I'm pretty sure they're afraid because they saw what was in my image, and they were like, "I saw it." And they just, after that, just kept doing things to like try and get a mugshot out of me for victimless things. Like nothing's going on. They just targeted me and thinking I don't know that they're targeting me for these things.
Yeah, we've
And
had
they
our
want to
fair
see that.
share with that the past year,
Mm-hmm.
especially
They
me.
want to see it.
They don't. Yeah, they want to see it up close, and then once
Oh,
they get it,
they saw
they
it.
don't do anything with the information. They want to hold it.
Yeah.
The mugshots for sure. I already know that they
Yeah.
the cameras that they're using for that is different.
I'll show you mine. I'll send it to you. It'll be like, what in the world? You see it right behind me, and it terrified them. And right now, and I'm telling you, and another thing too about that, your illumination of your forehead in those images. If you look at those images, a lot of those people that they take those pictures of, their entire forehead is darkened. On mine, it was completely enlightened. And it's like something was shining, and there was no other light in there. It was like my entire forehead was lit up, and you almost kind of saw like some numbers or something on like a side, but then you see this behind me. I don't want to bring it up, but they saw. I know I saw it. They saw it, and it's absolutely terrifying because I know exactly what it is, and they do too. But that's what they're looking for, and it's like almost to communicate with those figures that like protect us. Because just like you said, on a cellular level, we're protected. Just imagine on a so-called spiritual level.
You know, they said when we pass, it's still lit up. You see those colors of the rainbow? It's still going through our nervous system. When we gone, we breath stop everything. Our brain, electromagnetic centers is still lit. And I wanted to share with you. You see, when medical is also a military invasion, right? So when you all when they are making those pharmaceuticals, guess how they test it to see if it's a DRUG? They put your melanin on the scope, and if the DRUG is not eating up that melanin, guess what? That's not a DRUG. So all them pharmaceutical stuff, that's how they test them. Not to see that it's getting you better, to eat you away slowly. Because that's how they test it. It has to eat up your melanin.
They're doing it on my mom right
They have
now.
to test it on us first before it can even be considered a rug.
Yep. They have to see if your electrons are gonna be excited and unstable or gonna be de-excited. So that either speeds up the vortex or slows down the vortex, which allows the melanin to be eaten up away or to rust or oxidize. And when you look at black people today, what is our skin color? We are rusted.
Rusted.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? We're heavily oxidized from free radicals.
Oxygen is terrible. They think oxygen is terrible. When they look up the oxygen event, the massive, like billions. It was a massive oxygen event or something. I gotta look it up. It was like
The
supposedly like a
oxygen that we're
billion.
breathing now, we're not supposed to.
Yeah,
It's
not
heavy
at
and
all.
dense. It's dense. You see what I'm saying? It's filled with heavy metals. You see what I'm saying? So we should be breathing in other interstellar gases that are coming in right now. That's why the ozone layer is peeling back and weakening and allowing more light and more charged ionized particles to charge up our DNA to
And another thing about that, the reason why they're testing it on us first is because we have a high natural resistance. Naturally, we're resistant. Naturally, I'm going to repeat that. Naturally, we are resistant. Naturally, that's why our hair is not under any rules, laws, and regulations like certain other fur. But our hair is not under rules, laws, and regulation. It does what it wants when it wants, just how we're supposed to do, because it's not hurting anyone. And they'll be like, your hair is bad. Your hair is some bad hair because it ain't laying down. It's because it's resistant like we are. They'll give it terms like, oh, you all have low ferocity hair. And actually it means no, it's low parasitic, meaning it's unable to be penetrated or parasized. Like you can't put parasites on us. We're resistant. They know that. So if you look, that's one of the main reasons why they always test things against us. They're testing it for resistance.
Facts,
Our
my sister.
hair,
Y'all been in here cooking today. Everybody from the chat to the panel has been cooking.
For abundance to y'all.
Yeah, gratitude and abundance for everybody pulling up. Give us some time. We'll download this. I'll put it on my YouTube. I'm pretty sure he's gonna put it on his. So I'll probably be back later on my live, maybe around 8 p.m. CST. But gratitude, y'all, always.